This video continues with Chapter 160, Defeating the Four Little Strongmen. Comprehensive Comics, Rise from the Bone King, Chapter 160, Defeating the Four Little Strongmen. Looking at the dragon shield on Shuryu's arm, Vaya showed a playful smile. Shuryu, the dragon shield can block the attacks of gold saints, but it cannot block the dragon fist of a bronze saint like you. Now, I will try a real dragon fist to see if it can shatter the dragon shield. You know how to use the dragon fist too. My fist is a genuine dragon fist. HMPH. Shuryu gave a cold snort of dissatisfaction. Pegasus, I'll show you the true dragon fist, the rosin rising dragon force that can make the Lushan great waterfall flow backward. After saying this, Shuryu reached Vaya at the speed of sound and threw a decisive dragon fist. Unfortunately, before Shuryu's rosin rising dragon force could hit Vaya, Vaya's right fist had already reached Shuryu. Shuryu could only use the dragon shield on his left arm to block. Updating is not easy. Remember to share 101 Kanshu. Calm. Bang! Vaya's right fist struck Shuryu's dragon shield, and then, under Shuryu's shocked gaze, the dragon shield crumbled and shattered. The strongest shield of the dragon cloth was actually shattered. Before Shuryu could finish, the wind from Vaya's fist slammed into his body, sending him flying backward just like Jabu. After defeating Shuryu, Vaya spoke to Shun, Hyoga, and the others. Now that you know the gap in our strength, do you still want to fight me one-on-one? A saint's battle must be one-on-one. This rule only applied when the difference in strength was not large. In fact, in the Battle of Elysium, the 5 bronze saints first teamed up to attack Thanatos, the god of death, and later teamed up with Sayori Kaido to attack Hades, the king of the Underworld, proving that this rule could be broken. Shun and Hyoga looked at each other. Shun, who had long green hair and large blue eyes and was as beautiful as a young girl, took the initiative to suggest. Hyoga, his strength far exceeds ours, so we must join forces to defeat him. Yeah. Hyoga nodded in agreement. Shun, you control his hands. Nebula chain. Under Shun's control, the 2 silver chains of the Andromeda bronze cloth flew over to bind Vaya's hands. When Vaya tried to break free, Shun erupted with a powerful Cosmo. Pegasus, I don't want you to get hurt. Please just stay suppressed by me like this. As the vessel chosen by Hades, the king of the Underworld, Shun had awakened his Cosmo since birth, and his Cosmo grew stronger with age. For others, training was to become stronger. For Shun, it was to constantly suppress his own growth. Even the Andromeda bronze cloth was equipment for Shun to suppress his own power. When Shun left Andromeda Island, his master, the Silver Saint Albir of Cepheus, wanted to see Shun's true power. As a result, his silver cloth was shattered by a single blow from Shun, proving that Shun already had strength comparable to a gold saint. Feeling that Shun's Cosmo had risen beyond that of a silver saint, Vaya couldn't help but praise him. As expected of the vessel chosen by Hades. Diamond dust. Hyoga's voice drowned out Vaya's praise. Seeing Hyoga's right fist release freezing air wrapped in snowflakes, Vaya also exhaled a dragon breath. The frost dragon breath that froze everything collided with the freezing air released by Hyoga, and Hyoga's freezing air was instantly defeated. Then, under Hyoga's shocked gaze, the torrent-like frost dragon breath submerged Hyoga's body, eventually turning him into an ice sculpture. Hyoga. Shun cried out in worry. Shun, you should be more worried about yourself. While warning Shun, Vaya unleashed the secret technique of Pegasus. Pegasus Comet Fist. In the next instant, the fist wind, like a giant sphere, hit Shun. Shun screamed as he flew backward, and his nebula chain also left Vaya's wrists. Seeing Jabu, Shuryu, Hyoga, and Shun all defeated, Hydra Ikai, Bear Geki, Wolf Nachai, and Lionett Ban attacked Vaya from 4 directions. Pegasus Meteor Fist. Vaya launched an attack that dispersed the wind of his fists into hundreds of parts, making each of them endure over 100 fist-sized blows. The 4 bodies flew backward and fell to the ground. Vaya turned to look at Sayori Kaido at the highest point of the spectator stands. Miss, I have defeated them all. Please announce that the Sagittarius gold cloth now belongs to me. Sayori Kaido stood up holding the scepter of victory and walked to the edge of the stands. Just as she was about to speak, a figure appeared next to the Sagittarius gold cloth. The Sagittarius gold cloth belongs to me, Phoenix Ikki. Looking at Ikki, who wore the Phoenix bronze cloth and had deep blue hair and sky blue eyes, Vaya's expression turned gloomy. Ikki, the Sagittarius gold cloth is my trophy. Pegasus, as long as I put on the gold cloth, I can defeat you. After saying this playfully, Ikki reached his right hand toward the Sagittarius gold cloth box. Pegasus Comet Fist. Vaya directly threw a fist wind at Ikki that was enough to kill him. With a loud bang, Vaya's attack hit Ikki's body. Crack, crack, crack. Along with the sound of the Phoenix bronze cloth shattering, Ikki fell to the ground, a corpse. Among the 5 bronze saints, the only one who didn't possess an immortal body was Ikki. This is because the Phoenix bronze saint can be resurrected like a phoenix from the ashes. Boom! Under the unbelievable gazes of everyone, Ikki's body suddenly released raging flames. Wrapped in flames, Ikki stood up in a daze, the Phoenix bronze cloth appearing on his body perfectly intact. Is this the resurrection ability of the Phoenix bronze cloth? Recovering from the shock, Ikki gave Vaya a provocative smile. Pegasus, it seems I can defeat you, and then rightfully take away the Sagittarius gold cloth. Ikki, do you really think I don't have the ability to kill you completely? The Phoenix bronze cloth can only resurrect your body, not your soul. Can you actually kill my soul? As long as I am willing to pay the price. In this world, Vaya could consume his own soul power to use origin magic. Because the recovery speed of soul power was very slow, Vaya had always fought with his fists. I won't be intimidated by you. Ikki mocked disdainfully. Pegasus, even a god cannot kill me, Ikki. Since you say so. Vaya used world movement to appear in front of Ikki and then exhaled the frost dragon breath at him. The dragon breath that froze everything instantly wrapped around Ikki's entire body, turning his body below the neck into an ice sculpture. Ikki, this is your punishment. You will remain in this state forever. Even if you choose to commit suicide, your phoenix flames will not be able to melt the frost dragon breath. After Vaya said these words, the Sagittarius gold cloth box suddenly opened, and the glowing Sagittarius gold cloth flew out. Chapter 161, Pegasus God Cloth. Lingering Aeolos, I won't let you take the Sagittarius gold cloth. As Vaya tried to control the Sagittarius gold cloth, it suddenly split apart and flew toward the center of the arena. Vaya turned around and saw Seiya checking on the condition of Shiryu, Hyoga, and the others. Feeling Vaya's gaze, Seiya looked at Vaya with eyes full of rage. Not only did you steal my Pegasus cloth, but you also injured Shiryu, Hyoga, Shun, and Hyoga. Via Helios, I will defeat you and take back the Pegasus cloth. As soon as Seiya finished speaking, the Sagittarius gold cloth encased his entire body. Vaya leaped back into the arena and then teased Seiya. Seiya, I've said it before. Your name proves your guardian constellation is Sagittarius, so you should become the Sagittarius Gold Saints. Seiya looked at the Sagittarius gold cloth on his body, feeling at a loss. Is this the Sagittarius gold cloth? Incredible, the gold cloth is guiding my Cosmo to rise. Confirming that his Cosmo had risen by a level, a confident smile appeared on Seiya's face. Via Helios, this time I will definitely defeat you. After saying this, Seiya used the wings of the Sagittarius gold cloth to fly into the air, and then threw a right punch directly at Vaya. Pegasus Meteor Fist. White energy orbs, like a meteor shower, rushed toward Vaya at the speed of light. Bang, 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 bang. Vaya was unable to dodge these light-speed punches, and his body was knocked back several steps. So this is the strength of a gold saint. Placing the cloth box of the Pegasus bronze cloth on the ground, Vaya said with a solemn expression, "It seems you are an opponent I must wear a cloth to defeat." Under the watchful eyes of all the spectators, Vaya opened the cloth box. Then, the Pegasus bronze cloth, covered in golden red blood, appeared before everyone's eyes. Via Helios, Seiya questioned in confusion. Why is there blood on the Pegasus bronze cloth? Don't you know? Vaya explained. Seiya, cloths are actually alive, so they can evolve and increase their level. Cloths are forged from orichalcum, gamanium, and star dust sand. They are artifact-level equipment with life characteristics, capable of self-repairing minor damage and evolving in synchronization with the wearer. The Pegasus bronze cloth was resurrected by absorbing the golden blood of the Leo gold saints Yolia, raising its level to be infinitely close to a gold cloth. It also shines with the brilliance of a gold cloth when Seiya burns his Cosmo to the seventh sense. Absorbing the goddess's blood of Athena caused the Pegasus bronze cloth to evolve into a god cloth, second only to a Kamui. Is that your own blood? Of course, this is my blood. Vaya was not the goddess Athena, but Vaya's dragon god's blood was the genuine blood of a god, and it also had the effect of evolving the Pegasus bronze cloth into a god cloth. Come, my Pegasus cloth. Hearing Vaya's call, the Pegasus cloth absorbed all of Vaya's dragon god's blood, turning into a white gold color with divine pressure. Immediately after, the Pegasus cloth burst with dazzling white light, splitting apart and flying toward Vaya, instantly covering his entire body. 2 white gold Pegasus wings appeared on his back. Seeing that the Pegasus god cloth had larger wings than the Sagittarius gold cloth and covered more of the body, Seiya's face showed a shaken expression. This is the Pegasus bronze cloth. Vaya shook his head. This is the Pegasus god cloth. God cloth. Another term that Seiya did not understand. Vaya closed his eyes, feeling the resonance between the Pegasus god cloth and himself with all his heart and soul. Pegasus cloth, evolved by absorbing my dragon god's blood, guide me to awaken my Cosmo. As a living artifact, a cloth can guide its master to awaken and enhance their Cosmo. There was no doubt about that. Under the guidance of the Sagittarius gold cloth, Seiya had raised his 6th sense Cosmo to the 7th sense. When fighting the death god Thanatos, it was also because of the Pegasus god cloth that Seiya was able to raise his 8th sense Cosmo to the divine 9th sense, and then defeat the death god Thanatos in a one-on-one battle. Thump, thump, thump. Entrusting his whole heart and soul to the guidance of the Pegasus god cloth, Vaya felt its power impacting his soul. When this impact reached its limit, Vaya's soul underwent a big bang, and a brand new universe was born within his soul. This is my Cosmo. Vaya opened his eyes and looked at Seiya. My Cosmo level far surpasses your 7th sense Cosmo, but my Cosmo is not fundamentally different from yours. It seems my Cosmo level is the 8th sense Ariashiki, and I haven't directly entered the divine 9th sense. Ariashiki. Seiya gritted his teeth and said, I don't understand these nonsensical words. In any case, I'm going to defeat you now. Pegasus Meteor Fist. Pegasus Meteor Fist. Vaya also countered with Pegasus Meteor Fist. Countless white gold energy orbs turned into a meteor shower and rushed toward Seiya, colliding with the white meteor shower Seiya had fired. Under Seiya's shocked gaze, Vaya's meteor shower completely crushed his own and then struck his body. Bang, 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 bang. Even with the protection of the Sagittarius gold cloth, Seiya was still sent flying back like a broken kite, then fell miserably to the ground. Having dealt with Seiya, Vaya flapped the wings of the Pegasus god cloth and flew in front of Sayori Kaido. Don't hurt the young lady. Tatsumi Tokumaru once again blocked Sayori Kaido behind him. Pegasus, do you know the young lady's identity? Vaya naturally knew that Sayori Kaido was the reincarnation of the goddess Athena. Are you trying to say that Lady Sayori is not an ordinary human? Exactly. Tatsumi Tokumaru nodded. The master told me before he passed away that Lady Sayori is indeed the reincarnation of the goddess Athena, whom you Saint Seiya serve. Originally, the young lady should have grown up in the sanctuary, but 13 years ago, a gold saint tried to assassinate her. The Sagittarius gold saint's ALOs sacrificed his life to escape the sanctuary with the young lady, then handed her over to the master, who was traveling in Athens at the time. I am Athena. Sayori Kaido's expression was not very shocked. Even a human like Shun could sense his own massive cosmo. As the reincarnation of Athena, Sayori Kaido possessed a 10th sense cosmo that surpassed the scale of the entire universe, so she must have realized long ago that she was not an ordinary human. Lady Sayori is indeed the reincarnation of the goddess Athena. Vaya showed the smile of a hunter who had caught his prey. The reincarnation of the goddess Athena has descended because the holy war between the sanctuary and the Hades army is about to break out. Now, I will take you to the sanctuary to lead the Saint Seiya in the crusade against the Hades army. Chapter 162, Saga and Kanon, the Pope's Hall. Julia, kneeling on one knee, looked respectfully at Pope Saga on the throne. Lord Pope, everything I just said, I saw with my own eyes. If Sayori Kaido is truly the reincarnation of the goddess Athena, then my brother Aeolus was not a traitor to the sanctuary. Julia. Saga questioned him in a majestic voice. Are you questioning me? Julia immediately denied it. I would never dare to have such a thought. Saga had ruled the sanctuary as pope for 13 years, and had long since possessed the authority that a pope should have. Furthermore, given Julia's status as the younger brother of the sanctuary's traitor, Aeolus, Julia truly did not dare to question Saga's words. Do you all also believe that Sayori Kaido is the reincarnation of the goddess Athena? Saga's gaze turned toward Aldebaran the Taurus Gold Saint, Deathmask the Cancer Gold Saint, Shaka the Virgo Gold Saint, Milo the Scorpio Gold Saint, Shura the Capricorn Gold Saint, Camus the Aquarius Gold Saint, and Aphrodite the Pisces Gold Saint. Shaka was the first to respond. Whether Sayori Kaido is the reincarnation of the goddess Athena should be judged by the Lord Pope. The others nodded in agreement. Since you are all willing to believe in me, I will tell you my judgment. Saga said with a trembling voice, I believe Sayori Kaido is the goddess Athena. Julia looked at Saga with surprise and joy. Are you willing to believe that my brother Aeolus was not a traitor? In fact, I discovered long ago that the true traitor of the sanctuary is the Gemini Gold Saint, Kanon. Julia, it is precisely because I did not treat you as a traitor that I allowed you to become the Leo Gold Saint. Since the Lord Pope knows the truth, why not for my brother? Julia, the sanctuary has already lost one Sagittarius Gold Saint. It cannot afford to lose a Gemini Gold Saint as well. I concealed Kanon's crimes to give him a chance to reform. After all the Gold Saints had left, a mocking voice teased. While I was indeed the sanctuary traitor who told you to assassinate Athena, you faithfully executed my orders. Now that you admit that little girl is Athena, are you trying to atone for your sins? You are. Under Saga's disbelieving gaze, a man wearing a gold cloth walked into the Pope's hall. He was nearly 30 years old, with long sea blue hair and blue eyes. Kanon. Saga recognized his identity. Because he and Kanon were twin brothers with identical builds and appearances. Brother, it's been a long time. A provocative smile appeared on Kanon's face. I have good news for you. At the same time you became the Pope of the Sanctuary, I became the Sea Dragon General, the leader of the Marina, commanding all the Marina who serve Poseidon, King of the Sea. Kanon, are you here to show off to me? I'm here to seek cooperation. Cooperation. The reincarnation of a deity is just a human who possesses divine power. As long as you control Athena and I control Poseidon, the entire world will be ruled by us. Kanon, you truly are an irredeemably evil person. Saga said, full of disappointment. I commit evil deeds because I have an evil personality. Your situation is different from mine. Are you refusing to cooperate? Kanon's face instantly turned gloomy. My foolish brother, you will surely regret today's events. After saying this, Kanon turned and left. Athens Airport. After the Kurata conglomerate's plane landed at the airport, Sayori Kaido's gaze turned toward Vaya, who was sitting beside her. What exactly is your purpose? As a Saint Seiya serving the goddess Athena, what is wrong with me bringing you back to the sanctuary? Vaya looked into Sayori Kaido's deep, azure eyes. Are you not currently the young girl named Sayori Kaido, but have already awakened as the goddess Athena? Sayori Kaido did not deny it. Your blood can allow the Pegasus bronze cloth to evolve into a god cloth, which is enough to prove that your identity is not that of an ordinary human, but you are not the Greek deity I know. There's really no need for you to know my identity, because Poseidon, king of the sea, and Hades, king of the underworld, are our common enemies. In this world possessed by gods, a world transcender must be among the elite of the gods. Therefore, from the beginning, Vaya had decided to use the holy war between the sanctuary, the underworld, and the sea realm to defeat Poseidon and Hades, king of the underworld, to increase his level as a world transcender. Young lady. Tenma suddenly ran over and said, "Someone outside wants to see you." Vaya and Sayori Kaido followed Tenma out of the plane and saw a youth in a pure white suit with long sea blue hair waving at them. Beside him was a youth in a red butler's uniform with long purple hair. Julian Solo. Recognizing the other party's identity, Sayori Kaido's face turned gloomy. Seeing Sayori Kaido step off the plane, Julian immediately came before her. "Miss Sayori, allow me to introduce myself. I am Julian, the heir to the Solo family, the Greek shipping kings. My father and your grandfather were very good friends, so you should know of me." Sayori Kaido said politely, "Master Julian, I am Sayori Kaido." As if not noticing Sayori Kaido's cold attitude, Julian took the initiative to grab Sayori Kaido's right hand and lowered his head toward the back of her hand. Tenma looked at this scene with a face full of anger, but he did not dare to stop Julian. Vaya held Sayori Kaido's slender waist and stepped back, helping her avoid Julian's hand-kissing etiquette. "You." Julian raised his head and glared at Vaya with a gloomy gaze. What an insolent guard, to dare interfere with the interaction between Miss Sayori and me. "The insolent one is you." Vaya mocked. "Julian Solo, Miss Sayori did not extend her right hand, so you have no right to use the hand-kissing etiquette on her." "You fellow." Enraged by Vaya, an astonishing cosmo erupted from Julian's body. Because Julian was the vessel for Poseidon, king of the sea, and the soul of Poseidon resided within him. Poseidon's cosmo. Feeling Poseidon's cosmo, Vaya questioned Julian. "Julian, is this insolent behavior toward Miss Sayori truly out of your own affection for her? I think it is the Poseidon within you who wishes to desecrate Athena, the eternal virgin goddess." "The Poseidon within me?" Julian looked confused. "My love for Miss Sayori is sincere, and certainly not influenced by anyone else. If you're serious, then you're truly an irredeemable pervert. After all, the current Miss Sayori is only a 13-year-old girl." Vaya's words made Julian even angrier. "Master Julian." The youth behind Julian suddenly spoke. "You have already met Miss Sayori. The matter of the proposal should be taken slowly." "Sorrento, you are right." 4. A smile reappeared on Julian's face. "Miss Sayori, we will meet again very soon." Chapter 163, Athena's Astounding. Walking on the road to the sanctuary, Vaya's gaze secretly sized up Sayori Kaido. Although she was only 13 years old, her height was already about the same as the 15-year-old Himragi Yukina. It seemed understandable that the 15-year-old Julian Solo had fallen inexplicably in love with her, without even meeting her in person. "Why do you keep stealing glances at me?" Hearing Sayori Kaido's dissatisfied questioning, Vaya immediately withdrew his gaze. "I just wanted to know if Julian Solo really fell in love with you." A cunning smile appeared on Sayori Kaido's small face. "Is there a problem with Julian falling in love with me? Today is the first time he's seen you in person. Could it be that my charm doesn't have the power to make him fall in love at first sight, without even seeing a photo?" In Greek mythology, Athena was one of the goddesses capable of competing with Aphrodite, the goddess of love and beauty, for the title of the most beautiful goddess. Her beauty and charm were naturally beyond doubt. Seeing Sayori Kaido in person for the first time, Vaya was likewise stunned by her beauty and charm. "It seems I underestimated your charm." Passing through the barrier covering the sanctuary, Sayori Kaido looked toward the holy mountain of the temple of Athena and asked, "Pegasus, will you protect me as a Saint Seiya?" Vaya gave a playful smile and teased. In the sanctuary of the goddess Athena, would the reincarnation of Athena actually encountered danger. Sayori Kaido shot Vaya a dissatisfied glare. When Vaya and Sayori Kaido arrived outside the gates of the Ares Palace, the one who came out to greet them was not Ares Gold Saint Mu, but 9 gold saints led by Pope Saga. Lady Athena, welcome back to the sanctuary. Wearing a mask to hide his face, Saga looked at Sayori Kaido behind Vaya with a cold gaze. I already know that you were coerced into coming to the sanctuary by Pegasus. I now order the gold saints to rescue you. See? Sayori Kaido did not deny the fact that she had been coerced by Vaya. Seeing Virgo Gold Saint Shaka, Leo Gold Saint Yolia, and Capricorn Gold Saint Shura simultaneously erupt with their 7th sense Cosmo, a solemn expression appeared on Vaya's face. In front of the goddess Athena, you prioritize obeying the Pope's orders. Yolia glared at Vaya with an angry gaze. I saw you coercing Athena with my own eyes at the Galaxian Wars arena. Shura looked at Vaya expressionlessly. I simply want to defeat you. Shaka showed a cunning smile. I want to use you to elevate my Cosmo to a higher realm. HMPH. A cruel sneer appeared on Vaya's face. Then prepare yourselves to be killed by me. After saying this, Vaya summoned the Pegasus God Cloth from another dimension. Seeing the Pegasus God Cloth radiating a platinum glow and feeling Vaya's 8th sense Cosmo, Shura's eyes widened instantly. Such a powerful Cosmo is indeed worth the 3 of us gold saints joining forces. Then Shura raised his right hand and said, Pegasus, take my Excalibur. Yolia also threw his right fist toward Vaya. This is my ultimate technique, Lightning Plasma. Tenma Kafuku. Shaka also released a torrent of Cosmo energy with both hands. Facing the ultimate attacks of the 3 gold saints, Vaya directly counterattacked with Pegasus's ultimate technique. Pegasus Meteor Fist. Bang, 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 bang. Hundreds of fist-sized platinum energy spheres turned into a meteor shower, not only crushing the attacks of Shura, Shaka, and Yolia, but also blowing them all away simultaneously. As the 3 fell miserably to the ground, Vaya immediately mocked them. You actually thought that having 3 people could bridge the massive gap between the 7th sense Cosmo and the 8th sense Cosmo. If you really want to defeat me, all 9 of you should come at once. You bastard! Shocked by Vaya's strength, Saga issued an order through gritted teeth. Aldebaran, Deathmask, Milo, Camus, Aphrodite, you go and attack Pegasus as well. You must defeat Pegasus and rescue Lady Athena. As you command. The 5 gold saints accepted Saga's order, and Aldebaran was the first to launch an attack on Vaya. Pegasus, take my great horn. Sekishiki Meikaiha. Deathmask used his right index finger to release a technique capable of separating the soul from the body. Scarlet Needle. Milo's technique also involved releasing an attack from his right index finger. Aurora Execution. Camus released Absolute Zero, freezing air toward Vaya. Bloody Rose. Aphrodite released dozens of white roses toward Vaya's heart. Facing the ultimate attacks of 5 gold saints, Vaya showed an impatient expression. Gold saints, the massive strength gap between the 7th sense Cosmo and the 8th sense Cosmo is not something you can bridge with 3 or 5 people. Pegasus Meteor Fist. Hundreds of fist-sized platinum energy spheres turned into a meteor shower, crushing the ultimate attacks of the 5 gold saints before blowing their bodies away. With 8 gold saints defeated by Vaya, Saga questioned in a trembling voice. Pegasus, are you perhaps a deity? You can consider me a deity. If you are a deity, then we are Godslayers. Saga erupted his Cosmo, causing the Pope's helmet, mask, and robes to leave his body, revealing the Gemini gold cloth. Gold saints, I now command you in my capacity as Pope to use Athena's exclamation. To execute Pegasus. Athena's exclamation is an attack technique where 3 gold saints concentrate their Cosmo into a single point, possessing power far exceeding the sum of their individual cosmos. Because its destructive power within a small area is comparable to the Big Bang, it has been banned by Athena since the mythological era, and users are permanently stripped of their status as saints. Shaka, Yolia, and Shura immediately gathered together, assuming the Trinity stance to release the attack. Milo, Deathmask, and Aphrodite also gathered together, assuming the Trinity stance. Athena's exclamation. Athena's exclamation. Two infinitely expanding energy spheres rushed toward Vaya, who directly blocked them with both hands. Feeling that Athena's exclamation was equivalent to an eighth sense attack, Vaya also began to erupt his own cosmo. To actually block two instances of Athena's exclamation, Saga's gaze turned toward Aldebaran and Camus. Aldebaran, Camus, we shall also use Athena's exclamation. Just as Saga finished speaking, a figure clad in a gold cloth arrived beside Aldebaran and Camus. Lord Pope, Ares Gold Saint Mew has come to join the battle. Mew. Looking at Mew with long pink hair and emerald eyes, a wavering expression appeared on Saga's face. Having ruled the sanctuary as Pope for 13 years, Saga now had the confidence to make most gold saints obey his orders. The only two exceptions were Libra Gold Saint Doko and Ares Gold Saint Mew. Chapter 164, The Sword of Godslaying. Ares Gold Saint Mew would not obey Saga's orders because Mew's identity was the disciple of the previous Pope, Shin. After Saga assassinated Shin to become the Pope, the 7-year-old Mew left the sanctuary with the Ares Gold cloth. It was obvious. Mew already knew that the identity-hiding Pope Saga was not his master Shin, and he also knew that the current Pope was his enemy. Saga had been worried all these years that Mew would return to the sanctuary with Libra Gold Saint Doko to crusade against him, the sinner who assassinated the previous Pope, Shin. Seeing Mew, Aldebaran, and Camus assume the Trinity stance, a twisted smile appeared on Saga's face. This is the chance. Athena's exclamation. The energy ball released by Mew, Aldebaran, and Camus surged toward Vaya. Frost Dragon Breath. Vaya exhaled a dragon breath that froze everything, blocking the third Athena's exclamation. To be able to block 3 Athena's exclamation, you indeed possess the qualification to call yourself a god. Saga showed an evil smile and took out a golden dagger with his right hand. Can you still block me and this Godslaying sword now? As soon as the Sword of Crisis recognized the golden dagger in Saga's hand as the Godslaying sword that had consistently failed to slay gods, a sense of crisis arose in Vaya's heart. Pegasus God Cloth, raise my Cosmo to the 9th sense. To avoid being killed by Saga with the Godslaying sword, Vaya began to burn his Cosmo with all his might. Pegasus, accept the Pope's judgment. Saga leaped into the air and then pounced towards Sayori Kaido behind Vaya. What am I doing? Realizing his target was actually Sayori Kaido, a look of painful struggle appeared on Saga's face. The next instant, he again revealed a twisted and crazed smile. Athena, I am now going to complete the great feat of Godslaying that failed 13 years ago. With your scepter of victory and golden shield, I can replace you as the deity ruling the earth. Sayori Kaido was expressionless, showing no reaction of surprise to Saga's attack. Just then, Milady. Miss Sayori. The figures of Tenma, Seiya, and the others appeared behind Sayori Kaido. Seeing this scene of Saga attacking Sayori Kaido, the Cosmo of Seiya, Shuryu, Hyoga, Shun, and Ikki began to rise explosively. With the help of the Sagittarius gold cloth, Seiya once again raised his Cosmo to the 7th sense. You are not allowed to hurt Miss Sayori. Before Sayori Kaido could be struck by the Godslaying sword, Seiya moved at the speed of light to reach Saga. Don't get in the way. Saga's left fist struck Seiya's head, and Seiya immediately flew backward with a scream. Saga was the strongest of the gold saints of the current era. His strength was naturally not something Seiya, who relied on the Sagittarius gold cloth to raise his Cosmo to the 7th sense, could match. Athena, die. With Seiya no longer in the way, Saga once again stabbed at Sayori Kaido with the God-slaying Sword of Crisis. Sayori Kaido neither dodged nor counterattacked with the Scepter of Victory. The Sword of Crisis became the God-slaying sword that failed to slay a god, because when the holy war between the Sanctuary and the Hades army broke out, Sayori Kaido, who was stabbed by this God-slaying sword, did not die. Seeing Tenma arrive at the Sanctuary with 10 bronze saint, including Seiya and Shuryu, Vaya understood Sayori Kaido's plan. Pretending to be killed by Saga with the God-slaying sword to trigger the battle between the 5 bronze saint brats and Saga, and then guiding them to raise their Cosmo to the 7th sense during the battle. Pegasus God Cloth, raise my Cosmo to the limit. Boom! Accompanied by spatial fluctuations that shook the entire sanctuary, Vaya's Cosmo rose to an incredible realm. The divine 9th sense. In the Battle of Elysium, even when the 5 bronze saint brats donned gold cloths and possessed the 8th sense Cosmo, they could not defeat Thanatos, the god of death. This was enough to prove the insurmountable gap in strength between the 8th sense Ariashiki and the divine 9th sense. The moment he entered the divine 9th sense, Vaya immediately released high-tier origin magic. Ability Devour. Infinite soul power condensed into a black hole-like sphere, devouring the energy of the 3 Athena's exclamation at an astonishing speed. Vaya also moved to Sayori Kaido's side and grabbed the God-slaying sword, stabbing toward her with his right hand. Pegasus. Saga looked at Vaya with both shock and anger. Don't hinder me. Evil spirit possessing Saga, it's time for you to return to the Underworld. Vaya pointed his left hand at Saga. Soul-extinguishing breath. A black beam of light that destroyed souls swept across Saga's body, and Saga immediately let out a miserable scream. After the scream ended, Saga seemed to wake up from a dream, and his right hand hurriedly let go of the hilt of the God-slaying sword. Lady Athena, my evil personality has actually attacked you again. Please bestow upon me the punishment of death. Looking at Saga kneeling on one knee to ask for forgiveness, Sayori Kaido's expression was somewhat disappointed. Saga, it wasn't you who committed the crime, but the underworld evil spirit that seized your body. Therefore, I will not punish you. You are still the Pope of the Sanctuary. Lady Athena. Sayori Kaido forgave his crime, and Saga was immediately moved to tears. Lady Athena. Mew came before Sayori Kaido and knelt on one knee. The previous Pope Shin, who was assassinated by Saga, was my master. Do you really believe that was not a crime committed by Saga because of his own ambition? Mew. Sayori Kaido said with a smile. What kind of person Saga is, you should ask your companions. Companions. Mew turned to look at the 8 gold saints. Do you all believe that Saga is not an evil person? The 8 gold saints responded with silence. I am also a Saint Seiya who received training in the sanctuary. Seiya came before Mew with a forced smile. Even though I was just injured by the Pope, I still don't believe the Pope is an evil person. Just as Miss Sayori said, the Pope must have been controlled by an evil spirit when he attacked her just now. Sagittarius. Looking at Seiya wearing the Sagittarius gold cloth, Mew gave a bitter smile. It seems my long-held wish to avenge my master, Shin, cannot be realized. The evil spirit possessing Saga comes from the goddess of the underworld, so if our sanctuary defeats the Hades army in the Holy War, we can avenge the previous Pope Shin. After saying this, Vaya gripped the hilt of the God-slaying sword of Crisis with his left hand, looking at the wound on his right palm torn by the blade. To be able to tear my body, it seems this golden sword is indeed a true God-slaying sword. The gods of this world do not rely on an indestructible divine body to be eternally immortal, but rather use their Cosmo, raised to the realm of God, to forge an indestructible divine soul to achieve eternity. The Sword of Crisis can only destroy a god's divine body, but cannot destroy the indestructible divine soul. This is the reason why the Sword of Crisis failed to slay gods. Chapter 165, The Holy War begins. Cape Saunian, south of Athens. Julian, Solo, and Shayna arrived at the Temple of Poseidon, not far from the Solo family villa. There, they saw a man with long sea blue hair and blue eyes standing with a blonde girl clad in red scale armor. Kanon. Julian took the initiative to greet the blue-haired man. Thank you for telling me the news of Sayori Kaido's arrival in Athens. She is 10 or 100 times more beautiful in person than in her photos, the perfect partner I've dreamed of. Lord Julian, it is my honor to satisfy you. A malicious smile appeared on Kanon's face. Now that the saints have welcomed back their goddess Athena, it is time for us sea warriors to welcome back our master, Sea King Poseidon. Death Eyes. Kanon exchanged a look with the blonde girl, and she walked toward Julian with understanding. Lord Poseidon, I am the mermaid Death Eyes. You're calling me Poseidon. Julian looked confused. Lord Julian, you are the incarnation of Sea King Poseidon, who has ruled the 7 oceans since the age of myth. Once you go to the temple of Poseidon at the bottom of the sea, you can awaken the divine power of the Sea King. After saying this, Death Eyes grabbed Julian's arm and pulled him toward the sea. Shayna, stop her. Julian called out to Shayna for help, but Shayna stood in place without any reaction. Castle Heinstein. This was a silent city, surrounded by death. In a room echoing with the sound of a lyre, a girl with long dark purple hair and large amber eyes was playing a harp with her eyes closed. Pandora. A holy and majestic voice suddenly appeared in the room. Pandora opened her eyes and saw 2 men wearing battle armor forged from black gems, with multiple wings on their backs. Lord Thanatos, Lord Hypnos. Pandora knelt on one knee and bowed respectfully. What are your orders, my lords? Athena has returned to the sanctuary, and she has the Pegasus wearing a god cloth by her side. After Thanatos, with his silver hair and silver eyes, explained the situation, Hypnos, with his golden hair and golden eyes, followed. The strength of Athena's army is already a massive threat. This holy war can now begin. Immediately summon our specters of the Hades army. 101 Kanshu. Com reading made easy, all manual updates without errors. As you command. Pandora looked up after accepting the order. Lord Thanatos, Lord Hypnos. The 108 demon stars that protect the specters are still sealed by Athena's talismans. You need not worry. Lord Hades has already destroyed the talismans sealing the demon stars. All the specters protected by the demon stars have now awakened. The sanctuary, including the sanctuary soldiers, bronze saints, silver saints, and gold saints, everyone had been summoned to the arena by Pope Saga's order to worship goddess Athena, who had returned to the sanctuary. Everyone. Standing beside Sayori Kaido, Saga looked down at the crowd kneeling on one knee. Our goddess Athena has returned to the sanctuary, which means the holy war that has continued since the age of myth is about to begin. To protect the love and peace on this earth, we saints must defeat all enemies under the leadership of goddess Athena. After Saga finished speaking in his charismatic voice, Sayori Kaido spoke in a gentle voice that lacked majesty. My saints, I have only one command for you. You must survive. The saints were all moved to tears. What a gentle goddess. To protect Lady Athena, I am willing to fight to the death to defeat the enemy. Long live Lady Athena. Standing on the other side of Sayori Kaido, Vaya looked down at the gold saints, including Seiya. Mu of Aries, Aldebaran of Taurus, Deathmask of Cancer, Yolia of Leo, Shaka of Virgo, Milo of Scorpio, Seiya of Sagittarius, Shura of Capricorn, Camus of Aquarius, Aphrodite of Pisces, along with Doko of Libra and Saga of Gemini. With 12 gold saints, the strength of Athena's army was at its peak. Returning to the Athena temple, Vaya asked the expressionless Sayori Kaido. The current Athena's army not only has 12 gold saints, but also me, the Pegasus wearing a god cloth. Why do you seem dissatisfied with this situation? Sayori Kaido asked in return. Do you know the truth of the holy war? Of course I do. Vaya teased with a playful smile. The so-called holy war is just a game between you, Sea King Poseidon, and Hades, king of the Underworld. The saints, sea warriors, and specters who die in the holy war are all humans. You won't destroy Sea King Poseidon or Hades, and they won't destroy you. Past holy wars were indeed like a game of the gods, but this time it is different. Sayori Kaido looked at Vaya seriously. If you hadn't appeared, this holy war could have reached its end. The holy war cannot end because of me. Sayori Kaido nodded. Seiya, Shuryu, Hyoga, Shun, Ikki, they all have the potential to wear god cloths. As long as they raise their Cosmo during battle, they can help me destroy Hades' divine body. You want Seiya and the others to raise their Cosmo in battle. Who are the enemies they must defeat? Seeing Sayori Kaido fall silent, Vaya continued. Does the great goddess Athena want her own saints to become sacrifices for Seiya, and the others to raise their Cosmo in battle? This is a necessary sacrifice to defeat Hades, king of the Underworld. Sayori Kaido turned her back to Vaya. It's meaningless to talk about this now. Because the Pegasus wearing a god cloth appeared, the holy war will start early, and Seiya and the others have no time to grow. What is your true purpose in participating in the holy war as a saint? To personally defeat King Poseidon and Hades, king of the Underworld. That is my purpose for participating in the holy war. After answering the question, Vaya turned and left the Athena temple. Standing outside the Athena temple and looking up at the night sky, Vaya saw stars falling toward the earth, exactly 108 in number. What are you looking at? An omen of the holy war. Vaya answered while looking down at Shayna, who was walking up the steps toward him. Unlike their first meeting, she was now wearing the Ophiuchus silver cloth. Pegasus, you really are something, actually bringing the reincarnation of goddess Athena back to the sanctuary. Stopping in front of Vaya, Shayna looked up into his eyes. For the matter of you destroying my mask, I can choose not to kill you. Thanks. As a price, you must marry me. Marriage. Hearing Shayna's request, Vaya gave a bitter smile. Shayna, you'd better stick to the goal of killing me. You would rather have me kill you than marry me. Exactly. Seeing Shayna looking crestfallen, Vaya explained. Shayna, you have beauty second only to the goddess, but I will soon disappear from this world. Shayna's whole body trembled. It seems you already have the resolve to fight to the death in the holy war. Chapter 166 Freya, the Sanctuary's Arena. As Vaya passed by, he saw Shuryu, Shun, Hyoga, and Ikki engaged in practical training. He couldn't help but stop and ask, "Where is your companion, Seiya?" Shuryu stopped fighting and asked in return, "You really don't know?" Seiya came to the sanctuary with us to protect Miss Sayori because the Kurata conglomerate agreed to help him find his sister, Seika. Yesterday, Tatsumi Tokyumaru discovered a record of Seika coming to Athens, so Seiya is currently in the Athens area searching for the truth behind Seika's disappearance. After hearing Shuryu's answer, Vaya's gaze turned toward Ikki. How did Ikki end up with you guys? That is actually thanks to you. Ikki stopped his fight with Hyoga. Experiencing the deaths of my master and Esmeralda on Death Queen Island caused my heart to fall into a dark abyss. But in the arena of the Galaxian Wars, Shun burned his Cosmo to the limit to save me from being frozen by you, allowing the fire of hope to reignite in my heart. Shun gave a gentle, girl-like smile. Brother, you are my only family. It is only right that I do anything for you. To be able to burn Cosmo and melt my frost dragon breath, as expected of the vessel for Hades, king of the Underworld. Giving Shun a meaningful look, Vaya turned and walked toward the entrance of the sanctuary. In fact, Seiya's sister, Seika, lived in a village near the sanctuary. She hadn't come to the sanctuary to look for Seiya because she had lost her memory after accidentally falling off a cliff. Looking down at the village at the foot of the mountain from the sanctuary entrance, Vaya quickly spotted Seika, whose face bore some resemblance to Seiya's. She was chatting with a young girl wearing an exotic-style white dress, with long, curly blonde hair and emerald eyes. The blonde girl bowed her head to thank Seika, and then walked toward the sanctuary entrance with a look of determination. A moment later, the blonde girl passed through the barrier and saw Vaya standing at the sanctuary entrance. Are you a Saint Seiya of Athena? Without waiting for Vaya's answer, the blonde girl continued. Quickly, take me to see Athena. I have something very important to tell her. Although he had already guessed the girl's identity, Vaya still asked, Who are you? I am Freya, the sister of Hilda, the queen who rules Asgard. What is this very important thing you mentioned? See, King Poseidon has used the Nibelung ring to control my sister. Now, my sister is leading the god warriors of Asgard to join King Poseidon's ranks and help Poseidon destroy the sanctuary. Everything I'm saying is the truth, please believe me. Vaya gave a satisfied smile. Miss Freya, I will take you to see Athena. Pope's palace. Sayori Kaido sat on the Pope's throne, with Pope Saga standing beside her like a guard. Seeing Vaya and Freya enter the Pope's palace, Sayori Kaido took the initiative to speak to Freya. "Miss Freya, I already know your purpose for coming to the sanctuary." Freya was stunned for a moment. As expected of the goddess Athena. Snapping back from her surprise, Freya knelt on both knees and pleaded. "Lord Athena, I beg of you, save my sister." "Little girl," Saga asked Freya, who was even younger than Sayori Kaido. "Where is Queen Hilda now?" "My sister took me and the god warriors of Asgard to Athens by plane. The goal is to head to the Temple of Poseidon, located at Cape Saunion. Cape Saunion is a promontory surrounded by water on 3 sides, located about 65 kilometers south of the city of Athens. Besides its beautiful natural scenery, the most famous tourist attraction here is the Temple of Poseidon. The Sea King's army's base on land is actually the Temple of Poseidon at Cape Saunion." Learning this fact, Saga showed an expression of disbelief. Because theoretically, the entire Attica Peninsula is within the sanctuary's sphere of influence. "Pegasus." Sayori Kaido's gaze turned toward Vaya. "How do you think we should handle this matter?" "Naturally, we should take the initiative to attack Poseidon's Sea King army." Vaya gave his answer. Saga immediately expressed his agreement. "Lord Athena, I also believe we should take the initiative to attack Poseidon's Sea King army. Currently, our sanctuary has 11 gold saints and Pegasus as our main combat force. We can surely crush the Sea King army with ease." "Saga." Sayori Kaido's gaze turned toward Saga. "Can we let Seiya, Shuryu, Hyoga, Shun, and Ikki participate as the main combat force? Let bronze saints become the main combat force of our Athena's army." Saga's eyes widened in confusion as he looked at Sayori Kaido. "Lord Athena, what exactly are you thinking?" "Lord Pope, you really are slow." Vaya teased Saga. "Seiya has already donned the Sagittarius gold cloth. Shuryu is the disciple of the Libra gold saint, Doko. Hyoga is the disciple of the Aquarius gold saint, Camus. Shun's master, the Cepheus silver saint Albir, also possesses strength not inferior to a gold saint. Ikki is the Phoenix bronze saint who possesses the power of resurrection. Miss Sayori wants them to participate as the main force of Athena's army because she wants to train them to be the next generation of gold saints." "The next generation of gold saints?" Saga's expression contorted slightly. "Among the current gold saints, the oldest, Saga, was only 28, and the others were only around 20 years old. In other words, Sayori Kaido training Hyoga, Shun, and Ikki as the next generation of gold saints implied that the current gold saints would fall in the Holy War. In the last Holy War, 2 gold saints survived. Will this Holy War see the gold saints fall and the bronze saints survive? In the Omega era more than 20 years later, it was indeed the case that all the gold saints of the current generation had fallen, and Seiya and Shuryu became the new generation's Sagittarius gold saint and Libra gold saint. Saga, don't misunderstand." Sayori Kaido gave Vaya a displeased glare and then explained to Saga. "I just want to train Seiya and the others to increase our combat power. I can promise you that in this holy war, all of you will survive." "Lord Athena." Saga was once again moved by Sayori Kaido. Even Freya looked at Sayori Kaido with eyes full of admiration. "Lord Athena, you truly are a great and merciful goddess." "Lord Pope." Vaya spoke up at an inopportune moment. "You should immediately summon the main force of our Athena's army to attack the Sea King army. Is it because the leader of the Sea King army is your brother that you want to give them time to escape to the undersea realm? You actually know about Kanon." Saga gave Vaya a surprised look and then said with a determined face, "Kanon first incited me to assassinate Lord Athena and later became a marina of Sea King Poseidon. Even if he is my brother, I will not show him any mercy. I will now summon the gold saints, silver saints, and bronze saints and lead them to crusade against the Sea King army." Chapter 167, Sea Warriors and God Warriors. Cape Saunion. Inside the Temple of Poseidon, built in 440 BC, Julian solo sat on the Sea King's golden throne. To his left and right were Sea Dragon General Kanon, clad in golden scales, and the mermaid Death-Eyes, clad in red scales. Below his throne were Seahorse General Bayan, Scylla General Io, Kraken General Isaac, Chrysaor General Krishna, Leumnades General Kasa, and Siren General Shayna. Seeing Hilda, with her long grayish-blue hair, deep blue eyes, and an aura as pure as ice and snow, walking into the temple with Dubhe Alpha God Warrior Siegfried, Marek Beta God Warrior Hagen, Fecta Gamma God Warrior Thor, Megrez Delta God Warrior Alberich, Aliath Epsilon God Warrior Fenrir, Mizar Zeta God Warrior Sid, and Bennett Nash Eta God Warrior Mime. A satisfied smile appeared on Julian's face. Queen Hilda, God Warriors, welcome to my Temple of Poseidon. Lord Poseidon. Hilda knelt on one knee, looking at Julian on the throne with a fanatical gaze. I shall lead the God Warriors of Asgard to pledge their loyalty to you. Please bestow your blessing upon the people of our Asgard. Hilda was able to become the Queen of Asgard because of her status as Odin's earthly representative. Now that this earthly representative of Odin was worshipping another deity, the God Warriors all showed expressions of dissatisfaction. God Warriors. A provocative smile appeared on Kanon's face. See, King Poseidon is a god even greater than Odin. Under Lord Poseidon's protection, Asgard will be more prosperous than it is now. If you have any dissatisfaction, you may speak it now. Even Odin could not resist King Poseidon to reclaim his earthly representative Hilda. So the God Warriors would certainly not be so foolish as to challenge a god. Seeing that the God Warriors all remained silent, Kanon continued. Since you have no objections, from now on you are the subordinates of me, Dragon General Kanon. Join me in a crusade against Athena's sanctuary. As soon as Kanon finished speaking, a voice identical to his came from outside. You want a crusade against the sanctuary protected by me, Saga. Then, under the watchful eyes of everyone from the sea realm and Asgard, Saga led 10 gold saints into the temple of Poseidon. Saga. Looking at Pope Saga, who commanded the gold saints, Kanon showed a look of disgust. Athena Saint Seiya, you have arrived at the perfect time. Julian's eyes lit up, and a confident smile appeared on his face. Join my ranks as well. I shall marry the goddess Athena whom you serve, and become the main god served by you Saint Seiya. Damnable Poseidon. Saga rebuked him with a face full of anger. The great goddess Athena is an eternal virgin goddess. You dare to profane our goddess? I will surely kill you. Kill me, truly pathetic humans. It seems I should make you understand the gap between humans and gods. Julian's eyes radiated divine light as he released a powerful telekinetic attack. In the next instant, a torrent of invisible power struck the 11 gold saints, knocking them all flying outside. Kanon. Retracting his telekinetic attack, Julian gave Kanon his orders. Take my Marina generals and God Warriors to deal with Athena's gold saints. As you command. Kanon led the 6 Marina generals and 7 God Warriors outside the Temple of Poseidon and saw that Saga had brought not only gold saints, but also a group of silver saints and bronze saints. My foolish brother Saga, it seems you want to wipe us all out. Unfortunately, you have underestimated the strength of our sea realm. The 7 Marina generals and 7 God Warriors all possess strength rivaling that of gold saints. This war will inevitably end in our victory. Having finished his declaration of victory, Kanon used teleportation to appear before Saga and launch an attack. Galaxian Explosion. Galaxian Explosion is the ultimate secret technique of the Gemini Gold Saints, possessing not only supreme power capable of shattering even the stars of the galaxy, but also the ability to attack enemies from a distance across space. Galaxian Explosion. Saga also counterattacked with Galaxian Explosion. The 2 Galaxian explosions collided and annihilated each other. Saga looked at Kanon's face and couldn't help but speak. Kanon, I know you fell into darkness because I became the Gemini Gold Saint, and you could only exist as my shadow. Now, I am willing to give the identity of the Gemini Gold Saints to you. Are you willing to return to the sanctuary and continue being Athena's Saint Seiya? To say such disgustingly sentimental words, it seems you really have changed, brother. Kanon sneered. Even if you give me the identity of the Gemini Gold Saints, I have no desire to bow down and submit to Pope Saga. My foolish brother Saga, only when you disappear from the sanctuary will I become a Saint Sayer again. Kanon. Saga helplessly clenched his fists, no longer showing mercy to Kanon, who had become his enemy. As one of the strongest gold saints of this era, Saga was known as the incarnation of God, and Shaka was known as the man closest to God. Approaching the leader of the god warriors, Siegfried, with his eyes closed, Shaka opened them to look at his opponent. You are the strongest among the god warriors. Let me be your opponent. Aldebaran gave a provocative smile to see Horse General Bayan. Your opponent is me, Aldebaran. Camus stood in a standoff with Lumnade's General Casa. Yolia's opponent was Kraken General Isaac. Milo's opponent was the god warrior Hagen. Seiya's opponent was the god warrior Alberich. The god warrior Sid's opponents were Shun and Shuryu. The god warrior Mime's opponents were Ikki and Hyoga. While the Silver Saints were besieging Scylla General Io, a god warrior with a figure and face exactly the same as Sid's suddenly appeared, blocking Shayna's Thunderclaw with his left index finger. He was none other than the hidden 8th god warrior, Bud, the god warrior of Alker, the auxiliary star of Mizar Zeta. Seeing Sid wearing a black god robe and Bud wearing a white god robe, Shayna's eyes widened in surprise. You're not just a shadow of your twin brother, but the 8th god warrior. The so-called shadow warriors are like Saga and Kanon, sharing the identity of the Gemini Gold Saints as twin brothers. Because there is only one Gemini Gold cloth, one of the twin brothers becomes the Gemini Gold Saint, while the other becomes the shadow of the Gemini Gold Saint. Sid and Bud are also twin brothers, but since both brothers have god robes, Bud is not a shadow. Little girl of the Saint Seiya, my apologies. Bud said while throwing a punch at Shayna. Even if you are a female Saint Seiya, I will not show mercy to an enemy. Shadow Viking Tiger Claw. Pegasus Meteor Fist. Before Bud's fist could strike Shayna, hundreds of fist-sized energy spheres fell from the sky, hitting Bud and Io. They not only shattered their god robes and golden scales, but also left them severely injured and unconscious. Shayna looked up and saw Vaya flying into the temple of Poseidon clad in the Pegasus god cloth, a shy blush appearing on her fair and delicate face. Chapter 168, Julian the Sea King. Entering the temple of Poseidon, Vaya saw Julian solo sitting on a golden throne, with Hilda and Death Eyes standing by his sides. Pegasus. Death Eyes leaped forward and landed in front of Vaya. Stop right there. I will not allow you to approach Lord Poseidon. Death Eyes. Vaya sized up the red scale Death Eyes was wearing. Why did you become a Marina? My reason for becoming a Marina. Death Eyes' eyes widened as she froze for a moment. 12 years ago, Lord Julian saved me when I was trapped by a fishing line. Therefore, I shall offer my complete loyalty to Lord Sea King Poseidon. Death Eyes, what nonsense are you talking about? You're not a fish. Why would you be trapped by a fishing line? I am Mermaid Death Eyes, so I have the ability to transform into a mermaid. The one with transformation abilities is you, who has now become the Mermaid Marina. Even if you had transformation abilities as a child, why would Julian, a Greek, be able to save you, a Dane? And since the one who saved you was Julian, why is the object of your loyalty Poseidon? Vaya's barrage of questions caused Death Eyes' brain to stall. Watching Death Eyes' reaction, Vaya confirmed a fact. Death Eyes, like Pandora, was also being deceived and used by a deity. Pandora Heinstein had led the Hades army as the representative of Hades, king of the Underworld, since she was 3 years old. Because she regarded Hades, king of the Underworld, as the younger brother her mother gave birth to, Pandora offered all her love and loyalty to Hades, willing to do anything for him. In reality, Hades, king of the Underworld, is the incarnation of death, so his soul could not possibly be reincarnated as a human. Pandora treating Hades as her younger brother was merely the result of the twin gods manipulating her memories. Death Eyes regarding Julian as the benefactor who saved her was clearly also a case of her memories being manipulated by a deity. Julian solo. Vaya questioned Julian directly. 12 years ago, did you save Death Eyes when she was trapped by a fishing line? I have no such memory. Julian looked down at Vaya expressionlessly. Pegasus, clad in a god cloth, you are truly insolent before the great Poseidon. It seems I must subdue you personally to show you the gap in our strength. Even in a god cloth, you cannot defeat Sea King Poseidon. After saying this, Julian left his golden throne and raised the trident of Poseidon in his right hand, pointing it at Vaya. Prepare to die. Under Julian's control, the trident released blue-white lightning toward Vaya. Ability Devour. Vaya used high-tier origin magic to create a massive black sphere like a black hole, swallowing all the lightning released by the trident. To think you swallowed my lightning. Seeing this, Julian showed an expression of unbelievable shock. Julian Solo, do you really consider yourself Poseidon? After the black hole that devoured the ability vanished, Vaya looked at Julian with eyes full of pity. Poseidon's soul left the seal of Athena's amphora 12 years ago. You were already 3 years old then, so you are not Poseidon's reincarnation, but a puppet whose body was seized by Poseidon's soul. Because you are not Poseidon himself, you can only raise Poseidon's cosmo to the divine ninth sense. You bastard! A panicked expression appeared on Julian's face. Even if I cannot exert all of Poseidon's divine power, it is impossible for you to defeat me. I do not believe you are an enemy I cannot defeat. Vaya summoned the Godslaying sword from an alternate space. Gripping the hilt of the Godslaying sword with his right hand, Vaya looked at the blade covered in gold-red divine blood and said, O Krios sword, you have already absorbed my dragon god's blood, now resonate with my cosmo and transform. Hum. As if in response to Vaya, the blade of the Krios sword radiated divine light, transforming from a short sword into a golden sword about 1 meter long. That is the Godslaying Krios sword. Julian roared in a voice of fury that did not belong to him. Damned Pegasus, to think you would once again point those God-slaying fangs at this king. I will surely kill you. Poseidon, you have finally awakened. Vaya flew in front of Julian and swung the God-slaying sword to deliver a slash. A loud clang erupted. Julian blocked the Krios sword with his trident, his face showing the strain of a bitter struggle. Julian, you should just hand your body over to Poseidon. The enemy I want to defeat is not you as a human, but the deity Sea King Poseidon. Hearing Vaya's persuasion, Julian shouted angrily. How many times must I say it before you understand? I am Sea King Poseidon. Boom! As Julian's Poseidon Cosmo erupted with full force, thunder and torrential rain began to fall from the sky, and the calm sea began to surge with giant waves. Cosmo levels begin from the 6th sense. The Cosmo of the 7th sense is the limit that humans can reach. Those who advance from the 7th sense to the 8th sense, the Ariashiki, become demigods between humans and deities. From the 6th sense to the 8th sense, the power of Cosmo can only affect oneself. The 9th sense, as a divine Cosmo, can not only affect oneself, but also resonate with the world to cause various phenomena. Feeling Julian's Cosmo rise to the limit of the divine 9th sense, Vaya praised him. As expected of the vessel chosen by Sea King Poseidon, I didn't expect you to be able to raise Poseidon's Cosmo to the limit of the divine 9th sense. Unfortunately, you are not Poseidon himself after all. You cannot raise Poseidon's Cosmo to the 10th sense of a great god, nor can you exert the divine majesty of Poseidon as the king of the seas, which far exceeds the 10th sense. After saying this, Vaya also began to raise his own Cosmo. Infinite divine power surged from Vaya and Julian, annihilating each other. The mere aftershocks caused the temple of Poseidon to begin collapsing. Seeing that the temple of Poseidon was about to collapse, Death Eyes went to Hilda's side and grabbed her right hand. Queen Hilda, leave this place with me quickly. Just as Death Eyes and Hilda left, the temple of Poseidon completely collapsed. Arriving outside the temple of Poseidon, Death Eyes and Hilda turned to look at the temple that had turned into ruins. Seeing that the confrontation between Vaya and Julian was still continuing, Hilda spoke up. Lord Poseidon, I will help you. As Odin's representative on Earth, Hilda was a genuine demigod with an 8th sense Cosmo. She could indeed intervene in the battle between Vaya and Julian. Just as Hilda swung her spear to attack Vaya's back, a warm and vast Cosmo suddenly descended upon the area, completely suppressing Hilda's eighth sense Cosmo. This Cosmo is Athena. Hilda looked toward the sanctuary with a shaken expression, because she felt that alongside Athena, there was also the Cosmo of her sister, Freya. Chapter 169, Heading to the Sea Realm, Athena. Sensing Athena's Cosmo, Julian Solo calmed down from his state of rage. Pegasus, even if you have the Cosmo of the ninth sense, you are no match for this king. If you wish to continue fighting me, come to the Sea Realm and challenge me. After saying this, Julian took the initiative to end the confrontation with Vaya, his entire body radiating a sea blue, divine light as he flew toward the ocean. Seeing Julian return to the Sea Realm, Kanon used Galaxian Explosion to repel Saga, then shouted to the 6 Marina generals. This battle is over. We are returning to the Sea Realm immediately. In the next instant, the 6 Marina generals followed Kanon and escaped into the sea. Seeing the 6 god warriors led by Siegfried still fighting, Hilda pressed her right hand against her forehead with a pained expression and issued an order. God warriors, stop fighting at once. Athena's saints are not our enemies. Lady Hilda. The god warriors stopped fighting, and Siegfried came to Hilda's side to ask, "Have you returned to normal?" Lady Athena's Cosmo allowed me to temporarily break free from Sea King Poseidon's control. Siegfried, help me remove the Nibelung ring. As you command. Siegfried held up Hilda's left hand and removed the Nibelung ring from her ring finger. Poseidon's control over Hilda vanished completely, and she walked before Saga with a face full of guilt. Lord Pope, because I was weak enough to be controlled by Poseidon, the god warriors of Asgard were forced into battle with the saints. This is all my responsibility. I am willing to atone with my own life. Please forgive Asgard and the god warriors. Lady Hilda. Seeing Hilda bow her head to Saga, the god warriors all stared at Saga with angry eyes. Lady Hilda, please raise your head. Hilda raised her head, and Saga continued. You and the god warriors became enemies of our sanctuary, all because of Poseidon. Since Poseidon is the true culprit, I naturally will not blame you or the god warriors. Hilda breathed a sigh of relief. Lord Pope, I sincerely thank you for your mercy. As compensation to the sanctuary, while you and the saints attack the Sea Realm, I will lead the god warriors to protect the sanctuary. Then I shall entrust you and the god warriors with the protection of Athena and the sanctuary. Seeing Thetis walking toward the sea, Vaya used teleportation to appear before her. Thetis, Julian never saved you when you were an infant. Do you still wish to continue repaying his kindness? Thetis lowered her head and said, My memories cannot be wrong. Memories can be manipulated. To prove his words, Vaya pointed his left hand directly at Thetis's forehead. Memory manipulation. Memory manipulation is a 10th tier magic that can browse, erase, and modify a target's memories, and can even change certain NPC settings by rewriting memories. After modifying Thetis's memories, Vaya showed a faint smile. I have erased the memory of Julian saving you. Now you should believe that your memories can be manipulated. Lord Vaya. Thetis suddenly threw herself into Vaya's arms, hugging him tightly with both hands. You must be the one I wish to repay, for you saved me from being manipulated by Poseidon with false memories. Thetis. Looking down at Thetis, Vaya understood her current situation. Poseidon had not only modified her memories, but also instilled in her a strong desire to repay kindness. Now that she had lost the memory of being saved by Julian as an infant, she took Vaya as the object of her gratitude. Seeing Shayna walking over with a fierce expression, Vaya introduced Thetis's identity. Shayna, this child is the Marina Thetis. Since I once met her while she was visiting Athens at the Parthenon, I modified her memories so she would no longer be manipulated by Poseidon. Learning of Thetis's identity, Shayna asked in a sour tone, Do you really have no relationship with her? Vaya nodded. I am going to the Sea Realm now to subjugate Poseidon. I want you to take care of her and help her return to her hometown. Shayna showed a satisfied smile. Don't worry, I will definitely send Miss Thetis away. At this time, Saga also issued an order to the saints. Silver saints, bronze saints. The battle in the Sea Realm is not something you can participate in. I now command you in my capacity as Pope to return to the sanctuary and protect Lady Athena. After finishing his command, Saga took the lead and jumped into the sea. Shiryu, Hyoga, Shun, Ikki, and the Gold Saints followed Saga toward the Sea Realm, while a hesitant expression appeared on Vaya's face. The Sea Realm is a world ruled by Sea King Poseidon. Therefore, within the Sea Realm, Poseidon will inevitably awaken the Cosmo of the 10th sense. Thinking of how the 5 bronze saints fearlessly challenged Sea King Poseidon and Hades, king of the Underworld, Vaya cast these redundant thoughts aside. I can definitely defeat Poseidon. The holy war between Athena and Poseidon had already begun in the Age of Myth. At that time, Poseidon was not only the ruler of the Sea Realm, but also ruled Atlantis on land. In the holy war where Poseidon and Athena fought for ownership of the surface world, the saints of the Age of Myth not only destroyed Poseidon's divine body, but also conquered the Atlantis he ruled, causing Atlantis to become an undersea city. To allow his subjects to survive on the seabed, Poseidon used 8 mammoth pillars to support the sky of Atlantis, separating the undersea city of Atlantis from the seawater. Vaya passed through hundreds of meters of seawater, and a massive city located beneath the water appeared in his sight. Is this the Atlantis that sank to the bottom of the sea in the Age of Myth? Descending from the sky and landing in the central plaza of Atlantis, Vaya saw the temple of Poseidon ahead, where Saga was leading the Gold Saints and the 5 bronze saints in a confrontation with the Marina generals led by Kanon. Foolish Pegasus, you actually dare to challenge the great Sea King Poseidon in the Sea Realm. Accompanied by Julian's voice, Julian, clad in the Poseidon scale and holding the Sea King's trident, walked out from the temple of Poseidon. In the Sea Realm ruled by Poseidon, my Cosmo can be elevated to the 10th sense, and my Marina generals will also receive divine protection, possessing the Cosmo of the 8th sense. Buzz! Sensing Julian using the Cosmo of the 10th sense to envelop Atlantis, Vaya released the Cosmo of the 9th sense to counter it. Simultaneously, he used the wings of the Pegasus god cloth to fly before Julian, swinging the Godslaying sword to unleash a slash. Clang, a loud explosion sounded. Julian blocked the Godslaying sword with his trident. Pegasus, do you still not understand the gap between us? A confident smile appeared on Vaya's face. Julian Solo, if my opponent were truly Poseidon, I would think that a Poseidon who had awakened the Cosmo of the 10th sense would be difficult to defeat. But now that my opponent is a human, I do not believe I will lose to you. Because you are not Poseidon himself, it is impossible for you to fully exert Poseidon's divine power. Chapter 170 Poseidon, the Sea King. Foolish Saga, do you regret it now? Kanon looked at Saga with a smug smile. The Sea Realm is a world ruled by the great Lord Poseidon. We Marina generals receive Lord Poseidon's protection in this world, possessing a Cosmo equivalent to the 8th sense. Saga replied expressionlessly. Kanon, are you looking down on me and the Gold Saints? You can use Poseidon's protection to raise your Cosmo to the 8th sense, but we Saints of Athena can also raise our Cosmo to the 8th sense using our own power. Oh, I won't give you time to raise your Cosmo. Kanon gave the order with a cold face. Marina generals, defeat the Saints with the utmost speed. Then Kanon came before Saga and began a one-on-one battle with him. Galaxian explosion. Under the suppression of Kanon's 8th sense Cosmo, Saga saw the stars of the galaxy rushing towards him. Kanon's fist is right behind the stars. To avoid being deceived by the stars in front of him, Saga directly closed his eyes, relying on intuition to block Kanon's attack. Galaxian explosion. Bang, 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 bang. Kanon's fist and Saga's fist collided once more. Seeing his attack blocked, Kanon showed an expression of disbelief. To think you could block my Galaxian explosion, have you also awakened the 8th sense Cosmo? Kanon, have you forgotten that I am known as the incarnation of God? My strength was already very close to the 8th sense Cosmo to begin with. Furthermore, You only possess a cosmo equivalent to the 8th sense through Poseidon's protection. It is only natural that I can block your attack. After hearing Saga's explanation, Kanon said through gritted teeth, "Hateful Saga, I will definitely defeat you." While Saga and Kanon were fighting, Shaka also came before the sea witch Shayna, whose scales had wings on the back. "Could I ask you to be my opponent?" Shayna looked at the gold saints behind Shaka. "Virgo Gold Saint Shaka, you want to face me alone?" "Exactly." Shaka explained, "Although I am known as the man closest to God, my Cosmo has been unable to reach the 8th sense. In order to raise my Cosmo once more, please attack me with all your might. Then it shall be as you wish." Using a flute as a weapon, Shayna began to play the Sea Witch's ultimate technique Dead End Symphony. Shayna is a person with a pure heart, so his ultimate technique Dead End Symphony deals massive damage to those with evil in their hearts. People with kind hearts will only feel peace and tranquility when hearing Dead End Symphony. Listening to Shayna's beautiful flute music, Shaka recalled his dialogue with the gods and Buddha. Death is not the end of everything. The saints who once lived in the world have all transcended life and death. I understand now, the secret of the 8th sense Ariashiki is to transcend life and death. Isaac, Camus and Hyoga arrived together before the Kraken General Isaac. "Master Hyoga." Isaac looked at Camus and Hyoga expressionlessly. "Are you two going to be my opponents?" "Senior Isaac, why did you become Poseidon's Marina?" Hyoga questioned Isaac. "Have you forgotten that we all aimed to become saints and trained under Master Camus's guidance?" "I certainly haven't forgotten the past." Isaac pointed to his left eye with his right index finger. "My left eye went blind during that time while saving you when you were in danger." Senior Isaac. Tears began to glint in Hyoga's eyes. "Hyoga, now is not the time for sadness." Camus said expressionlessly, "Isaac originally only had the strength of a bronze saint. Even if Sea King Poseidon forcibly raised Isaac's Cosmo to the 8th sense, he absolutely cannot exert the true power of an 8th sense Cosmo. You and I working together will surely defeat him." Yulia and Saya came before the Seahorse General Bayan. "Saya, because the previous generation Sagittarius Gold Saint Aeolus was my brother, I am truly happy to be able to fight alongside you, the current Sagittarius Gold Saint. Yulia, I still have many shortcomings as a Gold Saint. You must give me much guidance." While the Marina and Saints were fighting, the battle between Vaya and Julian also continued. Although Julian could not exert the true divine might of the 10th sense Cosmo, Vaya was still suppressed by his 10th sense Cosmo. Clang, 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 clang. Under Julian's brandishing, Poseidon's trident stabbed at Vaya again and again, only to be blocked by Vaya's Godslaying sword. "Pegasus, why aren't you counterattacking yet?" Julian taunted smugly. "My Cosmo is still rising. If this situation continues, you will definitely be killed by me." "Julian solo, I will not lose to you." Vaya blocked Julian's attack expressionlessly. "The winner of our battle will undoubtedly be me." "You're saying I'm the loser. Haven't you realized yet?" Vaya looked at Julian with a gaze of pity. "Your human body simply cannot carry Poseidon's 10th sense Cosmo. It is already on the verge of collapse." Julian stopped his attack to feel his physical condition, and an unsettled expression immediately appeared on his face. Because what Vaya said was the truth, his body was indeed collapsing. "How could my body be like this? Could it be that I am truly not the reincarnation of Poseidon?" Then, "Julian, hand your body over to this king." Julian muttered to himself in a divine and majestic voice. "Once this king's divine soul covers your body, this king's Cosmo will no longer cause harm to your body. You are Poseidon." After saying this, Julian directly lost consciousness and lowered his head. When Julian raised his head again, his eyes had turned into glowing golden pupils. "Poseidon." Vaya spoke his identity with a solemn expression. "Pegasus." Poseidon looked at Vaya with a cruel smile. "You are truly foolish to choose to become this king's enemy. This king is not the weak Julian. Are you prepared for death?" Vaya directly aimed his left hand at Poseidon. Soul-extinguishing breath. A massive black beam hit Poseidon, and Poseidon let out a burst of laughter. This king's divine soul is immortal and eternal. You want to destroy this king's soul? Unfortunately, the power is too weak. The damage caused to this king's soul is almost non-existent. Soul-extinguishing breath, being unable to destroy Poseidon's divine soul, was, of course, the result Vaya expected. Poseidon, my experiment is not over yet. Under Poseidon's puzzled gaze, Vaya's left hand released an endless amount of magic power and soul power. World-burning calamity fire. World-burning calamity fire. This is the final magic created by Vaya by fusing origin magic and sin god Cain's holy annihilation, possessing the effect of destroying opponents on both the physical and soul levels. Chapter 171, The 10th Sense. Sanctuary. Hilda, Shayna, and Thetis walked into the Pope's hall and saw Sayori Kaido sitting on the Pope's throne, with Freya standing beside her. Sister. Seeing Hilda, Freya rushed over with a joyful smile and hugged her. Freya. Hilda looked down at Freya with a face full of guilt. I was actually weak enough to be controlled by Poseidon. You must be very disappointed in me. Freya shook her head. After all, you are only human, sister. It is only natural that you cannot defeat a god. Hilda gave Freya a gentle smile, then turned her gaze towards Sayori Kaido. Lady Athena, thank you and the saints for saving me. Now that the Gold Saints have headed to the Sea Realm to subjugate Poseidon, the god warriors and I will temporarily protect you and the sanctuary as atonement for my hostility toward your saints. Sayori Kaido stood up and walked over to Hilda and Thetis. Hilda, Thetis, welcome to the sanctuary. We are all girls of similar age. Would you like to be my friends? It would be my absolute pleasure. Unlike Hilda's composure, Thetis spoke with a bit of fluster. You are the great goddess Athena, while I am but a mere human. Thetis, you are too humble. Sayori Kaido took the initiative to hold Thetis's hands. You are a Marina whose strength rivals that of the Silver Saints, making you a rare and outstanding talent for me. If you don't mind, I would also like you to join my ranks and become Athena's Marina. I too shall become Athena's. Thinking of Vaya's figure, Thetis said with a firm expression, Lady Athena, I am willing to serve you. Shayna questioned with dissatisfaction. Miss Thetis, do you want to stay behind for the sake of Pegasus? Thetis gave a playful smile. Miss Shayna, you care so much about Pegasus. It seems you've taken me for a romantic rival. Pegasus and I are not in that kind of relationship. Shayna explained in embarrassment and annoyance. Because Pegasus destroyed my mask, he must take responsibility for me. Sea Realm. The battle between Vaya and Poseidon continued. Raging golden red flames were released from Vaya's left hand, turning into a torrent of fire that surged toward Poseidon. Just as the golden red torrent of fire was about to consume Poseidon's body, Poseidon used Poseidon's trident to release a torrent of water blue divine power. The two torrents of energy collided, and Poseidon's water blue divine power immediately gained the upper hand. Seeing this, Vaya showed a look of frustration. Poseidon teased triumphantly. Pegasus, do you think I would endure your attack like before? Although my divine soul is immortal and eternal, my body is a fragile human vessel, so I will never let an attack capable of destroying it get near me. Poseidon, you don't dare let my attack destroy your body, because once you lose the body protecting your soul will weaken enough to be destroyed by my attack. Poseidon did not answer the question. Seeing his face instantly turn gloomy, Vaya knew the answer. Poseidon, since your body is your greatest weakness, the victory of this battle will surely belong to me. Godslaying Pegasus, do you actually intend to destroy my body once again? Infuriated, Poseidon enveloped the surrounding space with his Cosmo, and Vaya immediately felt the immense pressure of the distorted space binding his body. This time, it will be I who kills you. After saying this, Poseidon threw his Poseidon's trident. A loud metallic clang rang out. Vaya blocked the trident with the Godslaying sword. Having lost his trident, Poseidon directly released a massive water blue energy sphere from his hands toward Vaya. Pegasus Comet Fist. Vaya also released a massive platinum-colored energy sphere in counterattack. the two massive energy spheres collided, and Poseidon's water blue energy sphere began to push the platinum energy sphere closer to Vaya. Constantly suppressed by Poseidon's powerful divine power, Vaya had a bad premonition. If this situation continued, Vaya would be unable to get close to Poseidon to destroy his body and claim victory. To defeat Poseidon, I really must elevate my Cosmo to the 10th sense. It seems you need my help. Sayori Kaido's voice suddenly echoed in Vaya's ear. Miss Sayori, Vaya asked with some surprise. You're willing to help me. I am considering whether or not to help you. I am Athena's saint. Helping me is your responsibility as Athena. Will your identity always be that of my saint? I can guarantee you that in this world, my identity will always be Athena's saint. Since you put it that way, I will temporarily help you awaken the 10th sense. Temporarily, I want to truly elevate my Cosmo to the 10th sense. That is impossible. Impossible. Pegasus, do you know why there are only 88 saints? Of course, it's because there are only 88 constellations. Just as the number of constellations is fixed, the number of main gods who can elevate their Cosmo to the 10th sense is also fixed. If you want to possess the 10th sense Cosmo, you must make a main god who possesses it disappear and take his divine throne for yourself. Make a main god disappear. Vaya's gaze turned toward Poseidon. Miss Sayori, help me awaken the 10th sense Cosmo. I will thoroughly defeat Poseidon and then seize his divine throne. Pegasus, I will only help you awaken the 10th sense. I will never interfere in your battle with Poseidon. In the next instant, Athena's Cosmo descended around Vaya and began to resonate with his own. Under the guidance of Athena's Cosmo, Vaya's 9th sense Cosmo began to expand infinitely, its total volume gradually reaching a level that covered the entire universe. So this is the 10th sense Cosmo. Feeling the surge of divine power brought by the expansion of his Cosmo, Vaya's heart was remarkably calm. Because Vaya's Cosmo was only temporarily elevated to the 10th sense. To truly possess the 10th sense Cosmo, he had to defeat the Poseidon before him. Athena, seeing the main god-level divine power fluctuations erupting from Vaya, Poseidon immediately let out a roar of fury. You actually helped Pegasus awaken the 10th sense Cosmo. Do you intend to destroy my body once again? Poseidon, I want to completely end the holy war between the saints and the Marina so that they no longer sacrifice their lives for our games. Poseidon mocked with disdain. I want to defeat you to seize the authority to rule the earthly realm. You want to use Pegasus to defeat me, but in reality, you want to seize the authority to rule the sea realm. With the authority of both the earthly realm and the sea realm, let alone Hades of the Underworld, even Apollo of the celestial realm would be unable to defeat you. Athena fell into silence, not denying Poseidon's accusations against her. Chapter 172, Destroying Poseidon. In this world, the 12 main gods of Mount Olympus are Zeus, Hades, Poseidon, Hera, Apollo, Artemis, Athena, Demeter, Aphrodite, Hephaestus, Hermes, and Hestia. Among the 12 main gods, Zeus holds the authority to rule the heavens, Hades holds the authority to rule the underworld, Poseidon holds the authority to rule the sea realm, and Athena holds the authority to rule the earthly realm. With the blessing of their respective authorities, Zeus, Hades, Poseidon, and Athena possess cosmos far superior to the other main gods. Later, after Zeus disappeared beyond the heavens, Apollo became the strongest deity with the authority of the heavens. The holy war between the saints, Marina, and specters also began after Zeus disappeared. See King Poseidon and Hades, king of the underworld, competed with Athena for the authority to rule the earthly realm, not only to rule the surface world, but also to rule the heavens that originally belonged to Zeus. Poseidon and Hades had the ambition to seize the earthly realm, and Athena naturally had the ambition to seize the sea realm and the underworld. In the past, she had not taken action because she had to maintain a balance of power with Apollo of the heavens, Poseidon of the sea realm, and Hades of the underworld. Via becoming the god-slaying Pegasus allowed her to see an opportunity to realize her ambitions. Sanctuary. The Pope's chambers. Sitting on the Pope's throne, Saori Kaido used her Cosmo to sense the battle taking place in the sea realm. Seeing Saga fighting Kanon and Shaka fighting Shayna, both of whom had already raised their cosmos close to the 8th sense, a faint smile appeared on her young face. Saga, Shaka, accept my guidance. Lady Athena. Hearing Hilda's voice, Saori Kaido snapped back to her senses. Hilda, what did you just say? Lady Athena, although I am Lord Odin's representative on Earth, I am not forbidden from marrying. Hilda asked with a serious expression. I want to know if Lady Athena, reincarnated as a human, will ever marry. That question is truly. Saori Kaido gave a bitter smile. Athena is the eternal virgin goddess. Of course I cannot marry. Even if I were willing to marry, I have no one to marry. Does Lady Athena not have a man she likes? As the goddess of war, I will only like a man who is stronger than me. Then you truly have no fate with marriage. Athena is the goddess who rules the earthly realm. With the blessing of the earthly realm's authority, even see King Poseidon and Hades, king of the underworld, cannot defeat Athena. Sea realm, Temple of Poseidon. With his divine power surging, Vaya swung the Godslaying sword to cleave through the aquablue energy ball released by Poseidon, then arrived before Poseidon with teleport-like speed. There was a loud clang. Poseidon blocked the Godslaying sword with his Poseidon's trident. Feeling that his strength was equal to Poseidon's, Vaya teased him. Poseidon, as the sea king ruling the sea realm with the blessing of its authority, you should possess a cosmo far exceeding the 10th sense. Why is it that I, having raised my cosmo to the 10th sense, possess the same level of power as you? Could it be that Julian Solo's body cannot carry a cosmo that far exceeds the 10th sense? That I will lose my own body is all because of you, the god-slaying Pegasus. Poseidon said through gritted teeth. This time, I will never let you succeed. Fire of the world burning. Vaya used his left hand to release raging gold-red flames at Poseidon. Poseidon also used his left hand to release aquablue divine power. The gold-red flames clashed with the aquablue divine power, and this time, the gold-red flames were not suppressed. The power of these flames has increased. Poseidon showed a look of surprise, and Vaya immediately explained. Earlier my cosmo was at the 9th sense. Now that it has risen to the 10th sense, the fire of the world burning naturally increases in power. Under Poseidon's terrified gaze, the raging gold-red flames sought to break through the aquablue divine power to reach his body, and he could only do his best to block them. Sensing the divine power released by the trident gradually weakening, Vaya suddenly thrust the god-slaying sword toward Poseidon's heart. Oh no! Without time to think, Poseidon also thrust his trident toward Vaya's heart. If Vaya wanted to avoid a result where both sides perished, he would have to give up his attack on Poseidon. Unfortunately, Vaya did not give up. In the next instant, Poseidon's trident pierced Vaya's heart. Vaya also pierced Poseidon's heart with the god-slaying sword. Pegasus! Poseidon stared at Vaya with wide, disbelieving eyes. Are you so infatuated with Athena that you are willing to die with this king for her sake? Die together. Vaya couldn't help but laugh. Poseidon, it seems you have a huge misunderstanding about me. I am actually a deity from another world. Although I haven't used the cosmo of the realm of God to forge an immortal and eternal divine soul, my divine body is far stronger than the gods of this world. The body of the human Julian Solo that you are using will be killed by the god-slaying Krios sword. Your trident wounding my heart cannot cause me a fatal injury at all. You are an invader from another world. Upon learning Vaya's identity, Poseidon erupted with a cosmo far exceeding the 10th sense. Julian's heart had already been destroyed by the god-slaying sword. As Poseidon's cosmo fully erupted, Julian's body immediately collapsed and disappeared, exposing Poseidon's soul, which had snow-white long hair and a snow-white beard. Without Julian's body to contain Poseidon's cosmo, Poseidon's divine power went completely out of control, beginning to indiscriminately attack the surrounding space. Poseidon, without Julian's body to hold your cosmo, you truly have become weaker. Like a hunter who had found his prey, Vaya began to fully release the fire of the world burning to scorch Poseidon's soul. Poseidon used his aquablue divine power to protect his soul, while simultaneously questioning Athena. Athena, do you really want to let an invader from another world kill me? Hades and Apollo are both watching our holy war. Seeing me eliminated by you, they will surely join forces to deal with you. Poseidon, what does your elimination have to do with me? Sayori Kaido's voice responded. Apollo of the heavens and Hades of the underworld can both see that I have been in the Pope's chambers of the sanctuary all along. I understand. Poseidon glared at Vaya with flashing golden eyes. You are deliberately using the Godslaying Pegasus to eliminate me so that Apollo and Hades have no reason to act against you. Foolish Pegasus, do you still not understand? You are merely a pawn used by the cunning goddess of wisdom. Poseidon, Athena and I are using each other. I want to eliminate you because I want to raise my Cosmo to the 10th sense, and I must take your divine throne for my own. You bastard! Glaring at Vaya with an angry gaze, Poseidon's soul suddenly split into two. One half of the soul blocked the gold-red flames that burned the soul, while the other half entered an unknown space. Chapter 173, Heaven and the Underworld. About 30 billion years ago, chaos, the will of the void, initiated the Big Bang. The will of the gods, liberated by this explosion, collided with fragments of the universe, creating the stars that shine in space. Countless stars formed infinite galaxies, which in turn formed the cosmic world where living beings could reside. Gods are great life forms whose bodies house the will of the gods, and who have awakened that will of the gods to enter the realm of God. During the Golden Age ruled by Cronus, the humans known as the Golden were also life forms housing the will of the gods. Thus, the humans of the Golden Age were immortal and were born with the 7th sense Cosmo. Modern humans were created by the gods, so they must wear cloths and resonate with constellations that house the will of the gods, to temporarily elevate their Cosmo to the realm of God. In other words, unless a miracle occurs, it is absolutely impossible for modern humans to become new deities. Heaven, Mount Olympus. Zeus's temple is located at the peak of Mount Olympus, overlooking the temples of the other 12 main gods. Temple of Artemis. Artemis, who had a crescent moon mark on her forehead, sat upon her golden throne, monitoring Sayori Kaido in the sanctuary through a massive mirror. Athena, do you intend to let Pegasus sacrifice himself for nothing? Even if Pegasus possesses the 9th sense Cosmo, it is impossible for him to defeat Sea King Poseidon. Lord Artemis, remember the fastest novel site on the whole network, 101kk. Com is super practical for relieving boredom. A young girl clad in silver battle armor inquired. Are you worried that Lord Athena will lose to Poseidon? The holy war is merely their game. Why should I worry about the outcome of a game? Artemis revealed a confident smile. Since the mythological era, Athena, Poseidon, and Hades have known that heaven does not allow Poseidon or Hades to seize the authority to rule the earth, nor does it allow Athena to seize the authority to rule the sea realm or the underworld. This is why, even though Hades has Hypnos and Thanatos under his command, he cannot defeat Athena in the holy war. Hypnos and Thanatos are true deities. As long as these two twin gods take action, it would be enough to annihilate all of Athena's saints. Furthermore, the Hades army possesses 108 specters. There is indeed a massive gap in strength between Athena's army and the Hades army. Hades, king of the underworld, has never been able to defeat Athena in a holy war, clearly not because he lacked the ability, but because he was not permitted to do so. Rumble, accompanied by a certain special fluctuation, the sound of buildings collapsing suddenly drifted in from outside. This feeling is, Artemis wore an expression of disbelief. Poseidon has fallen. Recovering from her shock, Artemis immediately used teleportation to reach the sky above Mount Olympus, seeing that the temple of Poseidon had indeed been reduced to ruins. Athena has been in the sanctuary the whole time. Who on earth killed Poseidon? Artemis did not consider Vaya to be the culprit, because even if Athena's saints resonate with the will of the gods, housed in the Pegasus constellation, they can only temporarily enter the 9th sense of the realm of God, and can never reach the 10th sense of a main god. Poseidon is still alive. A majestic male voice resounded behind Artemis. Artemis turned around and saw a man with a sun mark on his forehead and red hair like a burning fire. Brother Apollo. Since Zeus disappeared to the far reaches of heaven, Apollo had become the supreme god ruling over heaven. Even though they were siblings, Artemis could not help but show a fearful expression when facing Apollo. Since Poseidon is still alive, why is his temple? This is the temple of the 12 main gods. Apollo looked down expressionlessly at the ruined temple of Poseidon. The temple of Poseidon suddenly became like this because Poseidon is no longer a main god. Sea realm. Temple of Poseidon. After using the fire of the world burning to destroy the half of the soul Poseidon had left behind, Vaia felt the macrocosm begin to resonate with his own cosmo. Athena was right. The thrones of the main gods are indeed fixed. Because I have cast Poseidon down from his throne as a main god, the macrocosm allows me to ascend to his throne and truly possess the 10th sense cosmo of a main god. As Vaia covered the entire universe with his cosmo and occupied the throne left by Poseidon, Poseidon's trident flew toward Vaia of its own accord. Is this meant to make me the new Sea King? Looking at the divine artifact that originally belonged to Poseidon, Vaia felt a flicker of hesitation. Unfortunately, Vaia was merely a traveler in this world and could not truly stay to serve as the king of the sea realm. The plaza outside the temple of Poseidon. Kanon and the other 6 marina generals lost Poseidon's protection, and their cosmos all reverted from the 8th sense back to the 7th sense. With a loud bang, Kanon was struck by Saga's Galaxian explosion, his body flying backward in a pathetic state before crashing to the ground. Poseidon's cosmo has vanished. Struggling to climb up from the ground, Kanon turned to look at the temple of Poseidon. Saints Marinas. Under the watchful eyes of the saints and marinas, Vaia emerged from the temple of Poseidon, holding the Poseidon's trident in his right hand. Sea King Poseidon has been defeated and has fled. This holy war is a victory for Athena's army. With a thud, Shayna knelt on the ground, spiritless, and murmured, Lord Poseidon, the divine Lord Poseidon, actually lost to a saint of Athena. Could it be that Athena is a greater deity than Lord Poseidon? Underworld. This was the world created by Hades, king of the Underworld, who governs all life in the universe. In this world, souls burdened with sin fall into hell, while kind and pure souls are able to enter Elysium, where the gods of the Underworld reside. Elysium was a paradise of gods, filled everywhere with the fragrance of flowers and the singing of birds. This is quite a rare guest. Hypnos and Thanatos appeared before a soul that had broken into Elysium. The great Sea King Poseidon has actually come to Lord Hades's Elysium, and in a soul state, no less. Hypnos gave a mischievous smile and teased. Could it be that Lord Poseidon wishes to become a soul residing in Elysium? Thanatos followed suit. The rule established by Lord Hades is that only kind and pure souls may enter Elysium. Lord Poseidon, your soul certainly cannot be described as kind or pure. But since you are Lord Hades's younger brother, if you sincerely entreat Lord Hades as your elder brother, perhaps he will change the rules for you. Thanatos, Hypnos, are you mocking this king? Poseidon roared in anger. I have an important matter and must see Hades immediately. If you two dare to obstruct me, I will never forgive you. Facing Poseidon's threat, Hypnos and Thanatos bowed respectfully. We have been impolite. We will take you to see Lord Hades right now. Chapter 174, Poseidon and Hades. Sanctuary. Pope's Hall. The 7 marina generals, led by Kanon, were currently kneeling on the ground as captives. Sayori Kaido left the Pope's throne and walked up to Kanon. Gemini Gold Saint Kanon, you once instigated your brother Saga to kill me. Now that I am right in front of you, do you still wish to kill me? Kanon lowered his head and spoke. Goddess Athena, are you trying to humiliate me? If you truly are a great and merciful goddess, you should just kill me directly. Why would I kill you? You're not going to kill me. Kanon looked up at Sayori Kaido in surprise. I not only instigated Saga to kill you, but I also became a marina serving Sea King Poseidon. attempting to incite a holy war between the Marina and the Saints. Kanon, the crimes you committed are not unforgivable. Sayori Kaido showed a merciful smile like a holy mother. I want to give you a chance to atone. Are you willing to become the Gemini Gold Saint once again? Athena. A wavering expression appeared on Kanon's face. Saga also spoke to Kanon. Kanon, from now on, my identity will only be the Pope. You will become the one and only Gemini Gold Saint. Brother. Their eyes met, and large teardrops slid down Kanon's cheeks. Athena, brother, I carry unforgivable crimes. Can I really become a saint again? Kanon, you have always been Athena's saint. Shaka suddenly walked up to Kanon. When Saga imprisoned you in the rock prison of Cape Saunian, you were on the brink of death many times. Every time you felt despair, a warm Cosmo would save you from the edge of death. What you felt then was exactly Athena's Cosmo. Athena never stripped you of your status as a saint. The one who saved me then was Athena. Learning this fact, Kanon immediately prostrated himself to worship Sayori Kaido. Goddess Athena, from now on, I, Kanon, will surely offer my life to protect you. Helping Kanon up, Sayori Kaido walked over to Isaac. Isaac, as a disciple of Camus, you have received training as a saint. Are you willing to become a saint now? Isaac said without hesitation. To be able to protect Athena together with my teacher Camus and my junior disciple Hyoga is my greatest wish. Personally helping Isaac up, Sayori Kaido then looked at Sorrento. Sorrento, are you willing to become my saint? Sorrento was a person with a kind and pure heart. He became a marina serving Poseidon because he believed Poseidon could eliminate evil and build an ideal world. Lord Athena, can you make the world a better place? Sayori Kaido shook her head. Precisely because I am Athena, I cannot abuse the power of a deity to change the world. The people who can make the world a better place are not me, but you and the saints. I can make the world a better place. Sorrento looked down at his hands, then showed a determined expression. Lord Athena, I am willing to become your saint. Vaya was currently checking his status panel. Vaya Helios title, White Dragon God Emperor base level, LV 100. Job level, World Transcender LV 7. Total level, LV 107. Special abilities, Origin Magic, Holy Annihilation, 10th Sense Cosmo. Ultimate Magic, World Travel, Fire of the World Burning. Just as Vaya expected, defeating the 12 main gods of Mount Olympus could increase the level of World Transcender. Seeing that Sayori Kaido also wanted to bring the Marina Generals Bayan, Krishna, Io, and Kasa under her command, Vaya took Poseidon's trident and came before Sayori Kaido. Miss, we don't have time now. Sayori Kaido gave a cunning smile. What do you want me to do? Vaya handed Poseidon's trident to Sayori Kaido. I am now offering the authority to rule the sea realm to you. In exchange, I want you to go with me to the Underworld to crusade against Hades. Underworld. Elysium. Poseidon's soul followed Hypnos and Thanatos to the Temple of Hades. He saw a black stone pillar at the top of the Temple of Hades, which was built like a tomb. At the top of the pillar was a statue of Hades, and Hades' soul resided in the statue, looking down over all of Elysium. Poseidon, it's been a long time. Hades, also in soul form, took the initiative to ask Poseidon, is this your clone? With his soul so weakened that Hades mistook him for a clone, a bitter smile appeared on Poseidon's face. Hades, this is my true self. That's impossible. Hades' soul left the statue and flew in front of Poseidon. As the king of the sea realm, you should possess a soul as powerful as mine. Hades, an invader from another world, has descended upon this world and become the Godslaying Pegasus saint. Poseidon explained, he not only wears a god cloth, but also awakened the 10th sense Cosmo with Athena's help. Having lost my body, I could not defeat him and could only escape to the underworld at the cost of sacrificing half my soul. Now, I need your help. As long as you help me reclaim the authority to rule the sea realm, I will support you in seizing the earthly realm and the heavens, replacing Zeus as the new king of the gods. Poseidon, for you to have your body destroyed once again by the god-slaying Pegasus, you are truly somewhat incompetent as my younger brother. Hades, do not look down on me. Poseidon said with dissatisfaction. I had my divine body destroyed in the age of myth because Athena led a group of saints to besiege me. This time, my body was destroyed by Pegasus because I was using a human body. Hypnos, Thanatos. Hades issued an order to the twin gods. Give Poseidon a body. I will take you and Poseidon to crusade against the invader. As you command. Receiving the order, Hypnos summoned a man's corpse from a different dimension that closely resembled Julian's build and facial features. Lord Poseidon, this man was a member of the Solo family from 200 years ago. Are you satisfied with his body? Poseidon did not answer. His soul entered the body directly. In the next instant, Poseidon opened his eyes and shouted, Come, my trident and sea king scale. Responding to Poseidon's call, the sea king scale, enveloped in golden divine light, crossed through space to arrive in Elysium. Seeing that the trident did not appear, Poseidon said in a panic, Has Pegasus already replaced me as the new sea king? Just then, two massive cosmos descended upon Elysium. Athena. Recognizing that one of the cosmos belonged to Athena, Hades' voice was full of surprise. The other cosmo is also at the level of a main god. Could it be Artemis together with Athena? No. This cosmo has the feeling of the Pegasus constellation. The fellow beside Athena is Pegasus. Chapter 175 Hades, the king of the Underworld. The Gemini Gold Saint's ultimate technique, another dimension, uses Cosmo to warp and compress space, opening a path to another dimension to send enemies to an unknown space. If an enemy cannot find the exit to the another dimension, they will drift within it until death. In this world, there is not only the another dimension that gold saints can set foot in, but also the super dimension that only gods can enter. The heaven where the gods reside and the Elysium created by Hades, king of the underworld, are located within the super dimension. For a human to enter the super dimension, they must be protected by God's blood or a divine artifact. Without the protection of God's blood or a divine artifact, even a human who has awakened the eighth sense, the Aryashiki, will be crushed by the spatial power that warps everything the moment they enter the super dimension. Elysium. Crossing the super dimension to arrive at this paradise of the gods, Vaya saw that there were not only various plants here, but also kind and pure humans gathered in small groups. It looked like a vibrant paradise, making it hard to believe that this was the world created by the symbol of death, Hades, king of the underworld. Pegasus. Hearing Sayori Kaido's voice, Vaya's gaze returned to her. Sayori Kaido looked at the Temple of Hades, located in the center of Elysium, with a solemn expression. Are you really going to challenge Hades, king of the underworld? Vaya nodded. I have a reason why I must defeat Hades, king of the underworld. As long as you help me suppress the twin gods and Poseidon, the authority to rule the underworld will belong to you. Just as Vaya finished speaking, a cosmo even more powerful than Sea King Poseidon's appeared in the center of Elysium. The next instant, a man wearing a black jewel warsuit, with 6 pitch-black wings on his back, long black hair flowing freely, and pure emerald eyes, appeared before Vaya and Sayori Kaido. Hades, king of the underworld. Sensing the other's cosmo, which far exceeded the 10th sense, Vaya recognized his identity. Immediately following, 3 more people appeared behind Hades. 2 of them had identical faces and physiques, one with golden hair and golden eyes, the other with silver hair and silver eyes. Clearly, they were the twin gods under Hades, king of the underworld's command, Hypnos and Thanatos. The last person was Sea King Poseidon, clad in his Sea King's scale. Athena. Hades looked at Vaya and Sayori Kaido expressionlessly. Poseidon has already told me the truth. The current Pegasus is an invader from another world. You helped Pegasus defeat Poseidon. Do you intend to make an enemy of all the gods? Sayori Kaido showed a fearless smile. I simply wish to completely end the holy war, so that humanity no longer has to be sacrificed because of our struggles. What a hypocritical goddess. Hypnos mocked. The game known as the Holy War has continued from the mythological era until now. Why do you only now have the idea of ending the Holy War? That is because Previously, I did not have the strength to end the holy war. After hearing her explanation, Hades immediately inquired. For the holy war to end completely, someone needs to become the ultimate loser. Will this loser be you, or will it be me, Hades? Sayori Kaido remained silent. A trace of a smile appeared on Hades's face. Do you think you can destroy my divine body, Hades, just as you destroyed Poseidon's divine body? Since you have underestimated me to such an extent, let me see how much of the original Athena's divine power you, this reincarnation of Athena, can manifest. Seeing Hades raise the sword of Hades in his right hand and pointed at Sayori Kaido, Vaya immediately blocked Sayori Kaido behind him. Hades, your opponent is me. Foolish Pegasus, Hades said with a cold face. You were able to defeat Poseidon because Poseidon was using a human body and could not exert his full strength at all. This king is using the divine body bestowed upon me by my parents. Even if you possess the Cosmo of the 10th sense, you cannot defeat the king of the Underworld. When I challenged Poseidon, Poseidon also thought I could not defeat him. Since you say so, this king will kill you first. With a wave of his right hand, Hades sent a slash toward Vaya with the sword of Hades. Swish! A pitch-black sword light that tore through space flew toward Vaya. Vaya also brandished the Godslaying sword to counterattack. With a loud bang, the pitch-black sword light slashed by Hades and the golden sword light slashed by Vaya collided and annihilated each other. That is the Godslaying Krios sword. Recognizing the golden sword in Vaya's hand, Hades's expression became solemn. Because he cherished his divine body, Hades had always preserved it in the temple of Hades in Elysium, and then seized the bodies of human youths to wage the holy war against Athena. Just like Julian's body could not allow Poseidon to exert the full divine power of the king of the sea realm, a human youth's body also could not allow Hades to exert the full divine power of the king of the underworld. Hades did not use his own divine body to participate in the holy war, clearly because the holy war was merely a game between deities, and avoiding injury to the divine body was more important than the victory or loss of the holy war. The Godslaying Pegasus and the Godslaying Krios sword. Hades could not help but say, the Godslaying Pegasus once injured this king's divine body in the mythological era, so you are indeed an opponent this king cannot underestimate. This king wishes to change into another body to fight you. Can you give this king a little time? It was obvious. In order to avoid injury to his divine body, Hades wanted to use a human youth's body. No. Vaya directly refused Hades's request. Hades, king of the underworld, I want to defeat you in your peak state. After saying this, Vaya directly used the wings of the Pegasus god cloth to fly in front of Hades, brandishing the god-slaying sword to deliver a slash. With a loud clang, Hades's sword of Hades once again collided with the god-slaying sword. While Vaya and Hades were fighting, Sayori Kaido also came before Poseidon, Hypnos, and Thanatos. Poseidon, Hypnos, Thanatos, I shall be your opponent. Athena, Thanatos questioned with dissatisfaction. Facing the three of us as opponents, are you not going to don your own god cloth? There is no need for that. Sayori Kaido revealed a confident smile. The gap in strength between you and me is not something that numbers can compensate for. Buzz, buzz, buzz. A golden cosmo of a scale far exceeding the universe erupted from Sayori Kaido, enveloping the space where Poseidon, Hypnos, and Thanatos were located. Athena's cosmo is actually even more powerful than Lord Hades. Hypnos showed an expression of unbelievable shock. Athena, Poseidon roared in anger. You stole my authority over the sea realm. Poseidon, I did not defeat you to take your authority over the sea realm. This is a gift given to me by a saint serving Athena. I do not want to hear your excuses. Give the authority over the sea realm back to me. Poseidon swung his right fist and rushed towards Sayori Kaido. Before being struck by his fist, Sayori Kaido used the scepter of victory to strike his abdomen, directly sending him flying. Chapter 176, Pegasus Dragon God Robe. Clang, 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 clang. The barrage of fierce attacks, Vaya unleashed, while wielding the Godslaying sword, was completely blocked by Hades's Sword of Hades. As expected, a relaxed smile appeared on Hades's face. Pegasus, you are fundamentally unable to defeat me, much less destroy my divine body. It seems my worries were unnecessary. After saying this, Hades took the initiative to put some distance between himself and Vaya, then used his left hand to condense a pitch-black energy sphere over 100 meters in diameter. Ultimate Holy Explosion. Seeing Hades's pitch-black energy sphere, Vaya also used high-tier origin magic to create a massive platinum-colored energy sphere. The pitch-black energy sphere and the platinum-colored energy sphere collided and annihilated each other. In the end, the pitch-black energy sphere crushed the platinum-colored one, then turned into a torrent that engulfed Vaya's body. After the pitch-black energy torrent dissipated, Vaya used the wings of his Pegasus god cloth to fly in front of Hades. Hades said while retreating, "Since victory in this battle belongs to me, there is no need for me to engage in close-quarters combat with you and give you the chance to harm the divine body I cherish so much." Dodging Vaya's slash, Hades released another pitch-black energy sphere. Pegasus Comet Fist. Vaya released a massive platinum-colored energy sphere using the secret technique of Pegasus. The result this time was the same. Hades's pitch-black energy sphere crushed Vaya's platinum-colored energy sphere. Vaya now possessed the 10th sense Cosmo. However, Hades had the blessing of the Underworld's authority, and the scale of his Cosmo far exceeded the 10th sense. If Vaya wanted to bridge the gap in strength, he had no choice but to elevate his own Cosmo. Pegasus Cloth, lend me your power. Thump, thump, thump. As if responding to Vaya's plea, the Pegasus god cloth released a pulsation like a heartbeat. Under the impact of this pulsation, Vaya felt his soul resonating with the Pegasus god cloth. Now, as his consciousness traveled across the vast space to the Pegasus constellation, Vaya realized that what was resonating with his soul was not the Pegasus god cloth, but the 13 stars of the Pegasus constellation that harbored the will of the gods. Stars of the Pegasus constellation, are you willing to lend me the will of the gods? In the next instant, the 13 stars of the Pegasus constellation released 13 beams of light, crossing the vast space to strike the 13 star life points on Vaya's body. Star life points were the key nodes within a saint that controlled the flow of life energy. They were not only fatal weak points for defeating a saint, but could also be used to save a severely injured saint. Vaya's 13 star life points were struck, and golden red dragon god's blood immediately flowed from the 13 wounds, all of which was absorbed by the Pegasus god cloth. Seeing this, Hades's eyes widened in astonishment. The Pegasus cloth has already evolved into a god cloth. Could it be that it can evolve into a divine battle armor even more powerful than a god cloth? As it drank its fill of the dragon god's blood, the Pegasus god cloth covered Vaya's entire body at a speed visible to the naked eye. Furthermore, the helmet of the cloth transformed into a dragon-shaped visor. Its wings became dragon wings, and a long dragon tail appeared behind it. Looking down to see his hands covered in platinum dragon-shaped gauntlets, Vaya was somewhat incredulous. The Pegasus god cloth absorbed my dragon god's blood and turned into a dragon cloth. Pegasus, you are indeed very dangerous. Hades used teleportation to appear before Vaya and swung the sword of Hades at Vaya's neck. Vaya flapped his wings and retreated at an incredible speed, dodging Hades's slash. My speed has increased. Confirming that the dragon cloth had raised his speed and strength by a level, Vaya looked at Hades with the gaze of a hunter eyeing his prey. Hades, your luck is truly terrible. The stars of the Pegasus constellation lent me the will of the gods, allowing the Pegasus cloth to fuse with my dragon god's blood and evolve into the dragon god cloth, the dragon god armor. The Pegasus of the Age of Myth only injured your divine body, but this time I will destroy your divine body. Having declared his victory, Vaya used the wings of the Pegasus dragon god cloth to fly toward the retreating Hades. Pegasus, do not approach me. Hades released a massive pitch-black energy sphere at Vaya. Pegasus Comet Fist. Vaya released a massive platinum-colored energy sphere with his left hand. The pitch-black energy sphere and the platinum-colored energy sphere collided and annihilated each other. In the end, the platinum-colored energy sphere crushed the pitch-black one. My power actually lost to Pegasus. Vaya caught up to the retreating Hades and swung the Godslaying sword, attacking his heart. With a loud clang, the Godslaying sword collided with the sword of Hades, and Vaya teased Hades. Hades, Elysium is a world you created in the superdimensional space, so you must use your own divine power to support it. Under these circumstances, you cannot fight me with all your divine power. That is the reason you are losing to me. Odious Pegasus. Hades showed an expression of unwillingness, because what Vaya said was the truth. Pegasus, do you know what the consequences of defeating me will be? Without my divine power to support it, not only will Elysium collapse, but the humans living in Elysium will also be destroyed by the superdimensional space. The humans who enter Elysium all possess kind and pure souls. Destroying them is an unforgivable crime. Hades, are you under some misunderstanding? Misunderstanding. Athena and I only want to defeat you and seize the authority to rule the underworld. We do not intend to destroy your soul. If Elysium is destroyed, it must be because you yourself gave up supporting it. After explaining, Vaya used his left hand to release an ultimate spell at Hades. World-burning calamity fire. Golden red flames capable of burning matter and souls surged from Vaya's left hand, turning into a torrent of fire that rushed toward Hades. So this is the flame that annihilated half of Poseidon's soul. Hades retreated in a somewhat disheveled manner to avoid the golden red flames. Hades, this battle is over. Vaya, having circled behind Hades, thrust the God-slaying sword of Chrysaor toward his heart. Hades immediately turned around and also thrust the sword of Hades toward Vaya's heart. Vaya did not dodge or parry, letting the sword of Hades pierce his heart. The sword of Hades was actually a part of Hades's surplus. It not only had the power to easily pierce even a god cloth, but anyone struck by it would be subjected to a fatal curse. Even gods with eternal, undying souls, if pierced by Hades's sword of Hades, would be banished to the void beyond the cycle of reincarnation. Pegasus, you are truly too foolish. Looking down at the Godslaying sword piercing his heart, Hades sneered mockingly. The sword of Chrysaor can only destroy my divine body. It will not cause any harm to my soul. Since you have been struck by my sword, not only will your body die, but your soul will also fall into the hell over which I preside. Chapter 177, Aaron and Fighting Horse. Seeing Hades' divine body begin to collapse and disappear, Vaya revealed a cunning smile. Hades, you must think this is a mutual destruction, because your sword of Hades also destroyed my heart. But I am a god from another world, and my body's regenerative abilities are beyond your imagination. After saying this, Vaya voluntarily retreated, putting distance between himself and Hades. Then, under Hades' incredulous gaze, Vaya's heart wound healed at a visible speed, as if time were reversing. Even destroying the heart can't destroy your body. Recovering from his shock, Hades' soul flew towards a blonde boy residing in Elysium. The blonde boy wore a black priest's robe, and his pure, azure eyes adorned his handsome face. Vaya had a guess about his identity. Descending from the sky to land in front of the blonde boy, Vaya directly questioned him. Are you Aaron? It's been a long time, say ya. Aaron waved at Vaya with a brilliant smile. I'm really happy to see you again. This boy named Aaron was the human who, due to his pure heart, became Hades' soul vessel in the last holy war. Elysium is the destination of kind and pure souls after death, so Aaron's appearance there was quite reasonable. At this moment, Hades' soul had entered Aaron's body, and Hades' divine surplus also covered Aaron completely. Affected by Hades' soul, Aaron's blonde hair turned black. Aaron, I am not the Seiya you know. I know you're not the Seiya who is like a brother to me, but you also bear the destiny of Pegasus. Aaron pointed the sword of Hades at Vaya with his right hand. If you want to continue fighting, let me be your opponent. Vaya opened his status panel to check his condition. Confirming that World Transcender had risen to LV8 and his overall level to LV-108, Vaya looked at Eren. Eren, I no longer have a reason to fight. Under Eren's bewildered gaze, Vaya turned and flew towards Sayori Kaido. Facing the siege of Thanatos, Hypnos, and Sea King Poseidon, Sayori Kaido skillfully used the Scepter of Victory to block their attacks. Vaya arrived beside Sayori Kaido. Hypnos, Thanatos, and Poseidon stopped their attacks, watching Vaya with wary eyes. Miss Sayori, I have destroyed Hades' divine body, preventing him from using his own body to unleash divine power far exceeding the 10th sense Cosmo. Now I am leaving Elysium. Do you intend to stay here? Sayori Kaido looked at Eren with complex emotions. Seeing Sayori Kaido's reaction, Vaya turned directly and flew towards the gate of Elysium. After Vaya left, Eren smiled and walked in front of Sayori Kaido. Athena, it's been a long time. Sayori Kaido lowered her head, remaining silent. Eren continued. I want to ask you a question. Are you my sister Sasha? The girl named Sasha was not only Eren's sister, but also the reincarnation of Athena in the previous Holy War. Sayori Kaido looked up, gazing at Eren with determined eyes. It has indeed been a long time, brother Eren. Hades, what are you doing? Poseidon urged impatiently. Quickly take control of this human body. Then join us in defeating Athena and make her return the authority to rule the sea realm to me. Swish. Eren wielded the sword of Hades, unleashing a dark sword light towards Poseidon. After Poseidon dodged, Eren warned him. Poseidon, shut up. I am not a puppet controlled by Hades. I am currently controlling Hades' power. As expected of Lord Eren. Hypnos showed a faint smile. In the last Holy War, you used Lord Hades' divine power to activate Lost Canvas, and even now you still don't understand reverence for gods. Thanatos looked at Eren expressionlessly. Lord Hades is too merciful. Eren, having committed such blasphemous acts against a god, should have his soul destroyed, leaving only his body. Sanctuary. Crossing the superdimensional space back to the Pope's Hall, Vaya saw a blonde girl with a crescent moon mark on her forehead sitting on the papal throne. She wore golden battle armor similar to Athena's goddess cloth and held a golden crescent moon scepter in her right hand. To the blonde girl's left stood a silver-haired girl in silver battle armor, holding a silver crescent moon scepter in her right hand, looking like the blonde girl's shadow. To the blonde girl's right stood a masked boy in silver battle armor, with a pair of angelic wings on his back. Seeing Pope Saga and the gold saints kneeling like criminals, Vaya asked Saga, Saga, what's going on? Pegasus, this esteemed one, is Lady Artemis, the goddess of the moon, one of the 12 Olympian gods of Mount Olympus. Saga explained, because Sea King Poseidon's divine throne collapsed, Goddess Artemis represents Lord Apollo, the sun god who rules the heavens, to question Lady Athena. No sooner had Saga finished speaking than Artemis stared at Vaya with sharp eyes and demanded, Pegasus, did Sea King Poseidon's divine throne collapse because Athena weakened Poseidon's soul? Artemis, you are mistaken. Vaya smiled and stated the truth. It was not Athena who weakened Poseidon, but I. You want me to believe that you defeated Poseidon? Artemis let out a disdainful sneer. Even if you are the God-slaying Pegasus, it's impossible to defeat Poseidon in a one-on-one battle. Artemis, since you don't believe I have the power to defeat Poseidon, then fight me yourself. If you defeat me, it will prove that Athena weakened Poseidon's soul. How rude. The masked angel boy reprimanded Vaya. As a saint, you are not qualified to challenge the great goddess Artemis. I am Talma, one of the celestial warriors, the sleeping angel. Let me be your opponent. Supreme Domain. Talma leaped up to Vaya's front, unleashing a lightning-infused right punch at Vaya. Vaya's face showed a playful smile. The next instant, the space around Vaya's body began to warp. Talma entered the distorted space and was immediately transported to another location. Sanctuary's arena. Marin, the silver saint of Aquila, stood in the audience, recalling memories of teaching Seiya in the past. Seiya, why aren't you my real brother? Marin actually had a younger brother. Because she was separated from her brother, she poured all her love for him into Seiya. Bang! A masked boy in silver battle armor suddenly appeared in the arena, creating a huge circular pit in the ground with the lightning he released from his right hand. Seeing the figure of this masked boy, a familiar feeling made M-A-R-I-N Chinese letter ask, "Are you my brother?" Chapter 178 Artemis, Pope's Hall. As expected of the Godslaying Pegasus, a silver-haired young girl, clad in silver battle armor, walked before Vaya with a solemn expression. As a celestial fighter, Tauma has already awakened the 8th sense, Ariashiki. The fact that you could use space transfer on Tauma proves that you possess the 9th sense cosmo of a god. Let me, Callisto, be your opponent. Callisto. Learning the silver-haired girl's identity, Vaya showed a look of surprise. In Greek mythology, Callisto was not only Artemis's handmaiden, but also the human wife of Zeus, king of the gods, bearing him Arcas, the king who ruled Arcadia. When the human lives of this mother and son came to an end, Zeus transformed them into 2 constellations in the night sky. Callisto is Ursa Major. Arcas is Ursa Minor. If this girl was the Callisto from the Age of Myth herself, she was likely a subordinate deity of Artemis, possessing a 9th sense cosmo. Are you daydreaming? Callisto swung her silver crescent scepter at Vaya. Vaya didn't make any reaction. Bang! An invisible wall blocked the silver crescent scepter. Immediately after, Vaya's eyes released a torrent of platinum gold divine power that struck Callisto, sending her body flying backward like a kite with a broken string. Seeing this, Artemis stood up with a solemn expression. Godslaying Pegasus, it seems Poseidon was indeed weakened by you. Artemis, now I will weaken you just as I did Poseidon. If you don't want to lose your divine throne as a primary god, then fight me with everything you have. Having finished his declaration of war, Vaya used teleportation to arrive in front of Artemis and swung the god-slaying sword to unleash a slash. HMPH. Artemis gave a cold snort of disdain and used space transfer to leave the Pope's Hall. Vaya chased Artemis to the sky above the sanctuary, seeing that the sun had disappeared, replaced by a full moon in the daytime sky. Under the radiance of the full moon, Artemis enveloped the surrounding space with a primary god's 10th sense cosmo and pointed her golden crescent scepter at Vaya. Pegasus, now I will make you understand the immense gap between humans and gods. Even if Athena helped you awaken the 10th sense, you cannot possibly defeat a true primary god. You say I am human. Vaya flew before Artemis once again and swung the god-slaying sword. With a loud clang, Vaya's god-slaying sword clashed with Artemis's crescent scepter, and Artemis immediately felt an irresistible, immense divine power. This is impossible. Artemis cried out in a trembling voice. Pegasus, why is your divine power even stronger than mine? Artemis, I never said I was human. Vaya explained to her. Though I wear the Pegasus cloth, I am not human, but a deity from another world. My name is Vaya Helios, the white dragon god emperor Vaya Helios. After saying this, Vaya aimed his left hand at Artemis and released terminal magic. World-burning calamity fire. The gold-red flames surged forward like a torrent, and Artemis immediately used her left hand to summon a golden divine shield in the shape of a full moon to block them. Among the 12 primary gods of Mount Olympus, Artemis's strength could only be considered at the bottom. At this moment, as she diverted part of her divine power to her left hand, the crescent scepter confronting the god-slaying sword immediately lost sufficient divine support. Artemis, you are even weaker than I thought. Vaya seized this opportunity and launched a fierce assault with the god-slaying sword in his right hand. Clang, 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 clang. Artemis blocked all of Vaya's attacks with her crescent scepter, only to find that the sword light he unleashed broke through her defense, leaving small wounds on her cheeks, shoulders, and arms. Damn Pegasus, I will definitely kill you. Kill me. Vaya smirked mockingly. Artemis, you are merely the goddess of the hunt, not Athena, the goddess of war worshipped by the strongest Greek city-state, Athens. Because the divinity of the goddess of the hunt is too weak, you even have to usurp the identity of the true moon goddess, Selene. If you lack self-awareness of your own weakness, I don't mind teaching you a lesson just as Hera did. On the battlefield of Troy, the gods supporting the Greek coalition and those supporting the city of Troy once fought the war of the gods. Artemis bravely challenged Hera, only for Hera to subdue her with one hand and use the other hand to slap Artemis's face. Unable to resist Hera, Artemis could only weep to Zeus, hoping he would punish Hera. Under Artemis's furious gaze, Vaya sent the god-slaying sword of Chris Yor back to the alternate dimension, then gripped Artemis's crescent scepter with his right hand and swung his left hand toward her exquisite and perfect face. Slap! Accompanied by the loud sound of a slap, Artemis showed an expression of disbelief, her emerald eyes welling up with tears like a spring. Artemis, I don't even need a weapon to defeat you. Slap! Vaya delivered a second slap to her small face. If you surrender to me, I can let you go today. Pegasus, damn Pegasus. Artemis glared at Vaya with eyes burning with rage. I'm going to kill you. I'm going to kill you. This is just incompetent rage. Vaya aimed his left hand at Artemis's forehead. Artemis, I can destroy your divine body with world-burning calamity fire at any time. Do you really want to lose your precious divine body? Even if you destroy my divine body, I will not surrender to you. Then I won't be polite. Blazing gold-red flames erupted from Vaya's left palm. Just as the gold-red flames were about to scorch Artemis's body, a majestic voice descended along with a massive cosmo. Pegasus, I shall be your opponent. Vaya looked up to see the full moon in the sky replaced by a blazing sun, and a young man with flame-red hair, clad in golden battle armor, descended from the heavens. Brother Apollo, I knew you would come to save me. Artemis said, weeping with joy. Pegasus's true identity is an invader from another world. Kill him quickly. Vaya looked at the descending Apollo with a solemn gaze. As the Lord of the Heavens ruling in Zeus's stead, bolstered by the authority of the Lord of the Heavens, Apollo also possessed a cosmo far exceeding the 10th sense. Even though Vaya had already defeated Sea King Poseidon and Hades, king of the Underworld, he was not entirely certain of defeating Apollo. As Vaya prepared to battle Apollo, Sayori Kaido and Alone suddenly appeared beside Apollo. Miss Sayori, what is the meaning of this? Hearing Vaya's question, a sly smile appeared on Sayori Kaido's small face. Pegasus, Brother Alone and I are also going to subjugate you, the invader. It seems our cooperative relationship of mutual exploitation has come to an end. Vaya sighed helplessly. I am not so mad as to simultaneously challenge Athena, the lord of the earthly realm and the sea realm, Hades, the lord of the underworld, and Apollo, the lord of the heavens. Therefore, I am escaping this world now. Chapter 179 Liliyana. Sicily is the largest island in the Mediterranean, and Palermo is its capital. Liliyana Kranjkar arrived at a street adjacent to the port and saw that the buildings and asphalt roads in this area bore marks of being scorched, while flammable materials like trees and weeds had been completely incinerated. Others seeing the scene before them might think it was a disaster caused by a giant fireball falling from the sky. But she knew that the sight before her had nothing to do with a natural disaster. This world not only had possessors of supernatural powers like knights, mages, and witches who manipulated magic, or shrine maidens and priests who manipulated spiritual power, but also heretic gods descended from mythology and god-slaying demon kings who killed heretic gods to usurp their divine authorities. The state of Palermo's port and streets was precisely the proof of the birth of the 7th god-slaying demon king. What a real pain this is going to be. Liliyana let out a helpless sigh. Liliyana Kranjkar. Hearing someone call her name, Liliyana turned around and saw a silver-haired old man wearing an expensive suit, holding a cigar in his right hand, and exuding a terrifying majesty and evil aura. Are you Valtiro Sabarini, the Grand Master of the Palermo Mage Association Panormos? Oh my. Valtiro put on a look of surprise. It is truly an honor that the heir of the Bronze Black Cross knows an old man like me. Have you come here for the 7th god-slaying demon king? Liliyana shook her head. My grandfather heard that Erica Blandelli has become the lover of the 7th God-slaying demon king, so he sent me to confirm it. If it's true, I must make myself the lover of the alliance leader. Grandmaster Kranjkar is truly an old stubborn fool, extending the rivalry between the bronze Black Cross and the copper Black Cross to your generation. Valtiro looked at Liliyana with sympathetic eyes. Kranjkar, it is a fact I witnessed with my own eyes that Erica Blandelli has become the lover of the 7th king. Unfortunately, you've arrived late. Both the 7th king and alliance leader Salvator left Sicily yesterday afternoon. Not just the 7th king, but even the alliance leader has left. Hearing this news, Liliyana breathed a sigh of relief. Because she couldn't imagine at all how she was supposed to capture alliance leader Salvator's heart and become the lover of that God-slaying demon king. I really did arrive late, didn't I? A third person's voice suddenly rang out. Liliyana and Valtiro turned at the same time and saw a youth on the beach wearing an old-fashioned white knight's uniform, with shining golden eyes and short black hair. Who are you? Liliyana looked at the youth with a wary gaze. This area had a barrier to repel ordinary people, so this youth couldn't possibly be an ordinary person. Vaya's gaze turned toward the girl questioning him. She was about 16 years old, with fairy-like beauty and a slender, lovely figure. Her long silver-brown hair was tied in a ponytail, and she wore a black uniform with a blue shawl and a short skirt. Beneath the hem were legs wrapped in white over-the-knee socks and small brown boots. Liliyana Kranjkar. Vaya spoke her name. Just who are you? Liliyana drew her saber and pointed it at Vaya, but her body was trembling with fear. Are you the 7th king? He is not the 7th king. Valtiro denied Liliyana's guess. Kranjkar, why would you think he is a god-slaying demon king? Can't you feel it? Liliyana looked at Valtiro with a confused gaze. He has the same? No. It should be said he has a dangerous aura that far exceeds a god-slaying demon king. As expected of a descendant of the priestesses who served the earth goddess. It seems you've received a revelation. Vaya praised Liliyana with a faint smile. But I am not a Campione. Not a Campione. To prove her suspicion, Liliyana swung her silver saber and lunged at Vaya. Vaya stood in place without dodging or flinching. The next instant, the silver saber pierced through Vaya's body. But there's no sensation of a hit. Seeing that her beloved sword caused no harm to Vaya, Liliyana's eyes widened. Is it an illusion? An illusion. Vaya reached out his left hand and grabbed Liliyana's neck. Do you still think I'm an illusion now? Hey. Liliyana showed a pained expression due to the suffocation. Just as she was about to lose consciousness, Vaya released her neck and commanded, Tell me, where is the Campione? You are a god. Slumped on the beach, Liliyana confirmed her suspicion. Vaya urged impatiently. Liliyana Kranjkar, tell me quickly where the Campione is. I don't know. Liliyana looked at Vaya with a determined face. In a battle between a Campione and a heretic god, it's normal for even a city or two to be destroyed. As a knight who protects the people, even if I knew where they were, I would never tell you. Vaya's gaze turned toward Valtiro. Valtiro immediately bowed in respect. Great deity, I do not know where the 6th Campione, alliance leader Salvator, is, but I know that the 7th Campione, Kusanagi Godou, has already returned to Tokyo. Vaya showed a satisfied smile. What reward do you want? You are willing to grant me a divine blessing. Valtiro showed an excited expression. I want a young body and powerful strength. You are too greedy. I can only fulfill one request. Then, Valtiro took a deep breath. Please grant me a young body. As you wish. Vaya raised his right hand, releasing a deep crimson glow that enveloped Valtiro. This was the power of holy annihilation, capable of creating new laws for the world. A moment later, under the transformation of holy annihilation, as if experiencing a reversal of time, Valtiro changed from a slightly plump, silver-haired old man into a sturdy, golden-haired youth. Witnessing such a miracle with her own eyes, Liliyana believed her suspicion even more. As Vaya prepared to leave, Valtiro knelt on both knees and pleaded to Vaya like a devout believer worshipping a deity. "My God, I will arrange a plane to Tokyo for you. Please, you must accept my hospitality." Vaya nodded. As Valtiro led Vaya toward a distant car, Liliyana followed behind Vaya with a grave expression. "Kranjkar." Valtiro reprimanded her with dissatisfaction. "As the heir of the bronze black cross, how can you follow us like a stalker?" "Grandmaster Valtiro, I know the reason why you want to drive me away." Liliyana said expressionlessly. "You want to obtain divine blessings and use the grace bestowed by this deity to expand your association Panormos. As a knight who protects the people, I must stay by this deity's side to prevent him from being misled by your despicable means." If Panormos were a righteous mage association, Liliyana naturally wouldn't do this. Regrettably, the Mage Association Panormos was also the Sicilian Mafia, Chapter 180 The Savior, the upscale residential area of Palermo. Vuolteru's villa. In the spacious and luxurious hall, Vaya sat alone at the dining table, flanked by 12 beautiful girls in black and white maid outfits. "My God." Seeing that Vaya made no move to eat, Vuolteru, standing across from him, inquired, "Are you dissatisfied with these maids in any way?" Vaya spoke expressionlessly. "I'm just thinking about something." Having come from the world of the saints to the world of the Campions, Vaya had made the Campions of this world his targets in order to raise his level as a world transcender. The movements of these Campions were unpredictable. Vaya naturally couldn't waste time searching for them one by one, so he had to make the Campions target him for subjugation instead. Liliyana Kranjkar. Vaya's gaze shifted to the silver-haired beauty standing beside Vuolteru. "I can bestow divine grace upon your bronze black cross, allowing your grandfather to revert to an 18-year-old youth, just like Vuolteru Sabellini." Liliyana did not voice a refusal. "What do you want me to do?" "Tomorrow, I will head to Tokyo to subjugate the 7th Campione. I want your bronze black cross to spread the news that the 7th Campione has been defeated by me." "My God." Vuolteru couldn't help but speak up. "You can entrust this task to us, Panormos." In Sicily, Panormos was indeed the largest magic association. Looking at the entire world, Panormos was merely a small to medium-scale magic association. Hearing Vuolteru's request, Vaya glared at him with a cold gaze. "If Panormos announces that the 7th Campione was defeated by me, how many Campions would actually believe it?" Vuolteru fell silent immediately. Because this was indeed a task that only a prestigious magic association like the Bronze Black Cross could accomplish. "I accept your request." Liliyana looked at Vaya with her deep blue eyes. "In exchange, I want you to tell me, what is your objective?" "I intend to subjugate all Campions and save this world ravaged by the Godslaying devil kings." Hearing Vaya's answer, Liliyana's eyes widened in disbelief. "You actually intend to subjugate all the Campions? Do you think the God-slaying devil kings shouldn't be subjugated?" Campions bear the infamy of being called devil kings, because most of them are indeed tyrants who abuse their authorities and divine power. Liliyana herself was a victim ravaged by a Campione. About 4 years ago, Marquis Vauban, one of the Campions, used his tyrannical power as a devil king to summon a heretic god, gathering dozens of shrine maidens for a ritual. Liliyana was one of those summoned. In that ritual to summon a heretic god, 2/3 of the participants suffered severe trauma and lost their sanity. That Liliyana emerged unscathed was only because she had been blessed by the goddess of fortune. Campions are indeed devil kings, but there is a reason they must exist. Liliyana spoke with a look of determination. Humanity needs Campions to subjugate the heretic gods. The deities of this world are great life forms that existed even before the birth of human civilization. With the birth and development of human civilization, these great life forms all became deities worshipped by humans, bound by the myths woven together by gods and men. When a deity leaves their myth and descends into the mortal world, they become a heretic god that brings calamity. If a sun god descends as a heretic god, the entire world becomes unbearably scorching. If a sea god descends as a heretic god, the entire world is swallowed and submerged by the waves. If a god of war descends as a heretic god, the entire world falls into war. How great is the power of a god, and how potent is their word of power. Even holy knights at the pinnacle of humanity, the highest-ranking witches and shrine maidens, or the most elite mages, do not possess the power to defeat a heretic god. Only a Campione, who has usurped the authority of a god, can subjugate a heretic god. Liliyana, do we see the moon in the night sky because the sun and the moon exist simultaneously? Liliyana nodded, and Vaya continued. If there were no moon, we wouldn't see it. If there were no sunlight, the moon wouldn't become the moon in the night sky. In other words, both the sun and the moon must exist for us to see the moon at night. By the same logic, I believe the current state of the world is the result of the simultaneous existence of heretic gods and campions. If I subjugate all the campions, this world where heretic gods and campions coexist will collapse and vanish. You want to create a world without heretic gods or campions? Liliyana's eyes widened in disbelief. Vualturu spoke with a trembling voice. I have heard an ancient legend that, when the world is ravaged by many god-slaying devil kings, a star of salvation will descend to annihilate them. He is known as the King of the End, the last to manifest in the world. My great god, could it be that you are the King of the End who bears the star of salvation? I am not. Vaya denied the conjecture. Southern Italy. The coast of Calabria. Under the bright moonlight, a girl who looked to be about 14 years old was on the beach, enjoying the sea breeze. She had beautiful silver hair falling to her shoulders, a delicate and lovely face, and large eyes as dark as the night. She wore a thin sweater, a miniskirt, over-the-knee socks, and a blue knit hat on her head. There's no mistake. The girl suddenly turned to look north. The Gorgoneon appeared here, and was then taken to the north. Flap, flap. An owl descended from the sky and landed on the girl's shoulder. Someone outside of fate has appeared in this world. The girl turned her head in surprise to meet the owl's gaze. Goddess who weaves fate, do you wish for me to subjugate an intruder who does not belong to this world? Palermo. Vualturu's residence. When Vaya finished his meal, Vualturu inquired tentatively. My God, what do you think of these girls? Vaya looked at him with a cold gaze. What exactly are you trying to say? Vualturu knelt on both knees and pleaded with Vaya. My God, if you are satisfied with these girls, I hope they may receive your favor. Liliyana's gaze swept over the 12 beautiful girls in maid outfits, and she understood Vualturu's true intention. Grand Commander Vualturu, you want to obtain a godchild, don't you? Currently, Panormos was only a small to medium-scale magic association. If Panormos obtained Vaya's godchild, it could become a top-tier magic association. For a demigod is also a transcender standing above humanity, possessing power second only to campions and heretic gods. Vualturu did not deny it, for he did not have the confidence to deceive a deity. Under his expectant gaze, Vaya gave his answer. Vualturu, abandon your unmerited ambitions. 7. Chapter 181 Kusanagi Godou. Private Jounin Academy. Maria Yuri, who had just promoted from the junior high section to the high school section, walked toward the school with a dazed expression. This sense of unease, what on earth is going on? Is it just because today is the first day of school and I'm too nervous? Arriving outside the gates of Jounin Academy, Maria Yuri suddenly widened her eyes and stopped in her tracks. She saw a familiar, yet foreign girl ahead of her. Silver-brown hair tied in a ponytail, fairy-like beauty, a slender figure, and a knightly, dignified aura. There was no mistake. It was Liliyana Kranjkar, the companion who had been forced by a god-slaying demon king to summon a heretic god alongside her 4 years ago. Why is she here? Maria Yuri looked curiously at the other person beside Liliyana. It was a youth wearing a classic white knight's uniform, appearing to be about 17 years old. On his expressionless face were a pair of golden eyes that did not belong to an ordinary human. Sensing someone staring at him, Vaya's gaze shifted toward Maria Yuri. Seeing her brownish-black long hair, a beauty that did not lose to Liliyana's at all, and a noble, elegant, aristocratic aura, Vaya guessed her identity. After their eyes met, Maria Yuri walked up to Vaya with a determined expression, as if facing death, and bowed her head. "You must be the 6th Godslayer, Lord Salvator. This humble girl implores you to move elsewhere, lest others offend you through their ignorance." "Maria Yuri, what are you talking about?" Liliyana let out a startled cry. "This lord is not the alliance leader, Lord Salvator." Maria Yuri raised her head in surprise. "Could you be the Black Prince, Lord Alexander Gascogny?" "I am not a Godslayer," Vaya said expressionlessly. "And I am not here for you. You are not a Godslayer." From the first moment she saw Vaya, Maria Yuri had confirmed that he was the source of her internal unease. This feeling was just like meeting the oldest God-slaying demon king, Marquis Vauban. Even if Vaya was not a Godslayer, he was a heretic god on the same level as a God-slaying demon king. "A deity." "Exactly." Liliyana gave an affirmative answer. "This lord is here to subjugate the 7th God-slaying demon king who has returned to this country. The 7th God-slaying demon king is in this country." Maria Yuri was shocked by this news. "Maria Senpai, are you in some kind of trouble?" Hearing a familiar voice, Maria Yuri turned around and saw her junior from the junior high section, Kusanagi Shizuka. Beside Kusanagi, Shizuka was a boy wearing the high school uniform. He should be her older brother, Kusanagi Godou. "Shizuka-chan, I'm not in any trouble. You and Kusanagi-kun should head into school quickly. We need to discuss some topics that shouldn't be heard by you." "Kusanagi Godou." Vaya's voice rang out from behind her. "You've finally arrived. Are you looking for me?" Kusanagi Godou looked at Vaya with confusion. "This is the first time I've met you. Have you found the wrong person? You are the 7th Demon King, aren't you?" Kusanagi Godou did not deny it. Because he was indeed the 7th Godslayer. Kusanagi-kun is the 7th Godslayer. Maria Yuri's eyes widened in disbelief. "Let's change locations." Kusanagi Godou showed a troubled expression. "I don't want to attract too much attention. A park near Jounin Academy." Vaya, Liliyana, Kusanagi Godou, and Maria Yuri came to a corner where no one else was, and Kusanagi Godou directly questioned Vaya. "What is your purpose in looking for me? Since I am a pacifist, I won't fight you." "Kusanagi Godou, I am here to subjugate you." "Subjugate?" Kusanagi Godou showed an expression of dissatisfaction. "I don't recall committing any crimes that warrant being subjugated by you." Kusanagi Godou, this is a world where Godslayers and heretic gods coexist. To change this world, either the Godslayers or the heretic gods must all disappear. I cannot make all heretic gods disappear, so I will make all Godslayers disappear. That is my reason for subjugating Godslayers. You have personally witnessed how heretic gods trample this world. Do you really think my idea of changing this world is wrong? Your idea of wanting to change the world isn't wrong, but I think your method is. As long as Godslayers are sent to another world, the effect of making them disappear from this world can be achieved. Kusanagi Godou, do you really think God-slaying demon kings shouldn't be subjugated? Vaya teased with a playful smile. Liliyana and Maria Yuri are both victims of crimes committed by your fellow Godslayers. Those Godslayers known as demon kings are far more evil than you think. Seeing that Liliyana and Maria Yuri did not deny Vaya's words, Kusanagi Godou showed a look of hesitation. "I won't oppose you destroying Godslayers who have committed crimes, but I have no reason to be subjugated by you. You really are a troublesome guy." Vaya impatiently raised his right hand and pointed it at Kusanagi Godou. "Whether you are willing or not, I will subjugate you." In the next instant, Vaya's right hand released the 9th tier magic, Myriad Thunder Annihilation. 3 thunder snakes intertwined like chains, transforming into a thunder dragon as thick as a barrel that lunged toward Kusanagi Godou. With a loud bang, the thunder dragon struck Kusanagi Godou, and his body was immediately sent flying, crashing into a large tree behind him. In order to allow Godslayers to use divine authorities, their bodies are granted a constitution possessing infinite divine power by the Earth Mother Goddess, Pandora. Under the protection of infinite divine power, even if the Godslayers do not use their authorities, human magic cannot cause them harm. As expected, it's not enough. Seeing that myriad thunder annihilation had not caused any real damage to Kusanagi Godou, Vaya, as if conducting an experiment, released the crimson power of holy annihilation toward him. Over 100 fist-sized crimson energy spheres flew toward Kusanagi Godou, who immediately used the divine speed of the Phoenix, the seventh avatar of his 10 incarnations authority, to dodge Vaya's attack. Having pulled back to a sufficient distance, Kusanagi Godou looked at Vaya with a face full of anger. "It seems you really intend to kill me. Kusanagi Godou, I know you are a rookie who has just become a Godslayer." Vaya said expressionlessly, "As a novice benefit, I am now giving you a chance to counterattack. O thou with sharp fangs whom none may approach, grant the hammer of destruction unto the covenant breaker." Kusanagi Godou chanted the words of power, summoning the boar, the fifth avatar of his 10 incarnations authority. Swish! Accompanied by ripples that tore through space, a pitch-black boar over 20 meters long descended from a different dimension, charging toward Vaya with the power to distort space. Among Kusanagi Godou's 10 incarnations, authority, the third avatar white stallion, the fifth avatar boar, and the 10th avatar warrior, all possess the power to deal lethal damage to Godslayers and heretic gods. Chapter 182 Pandora, Pegasus Meteor Fist. Seeing the massive mountain boar summoned by Kusanagi Godou, Vaya swung his right fist to unleash the ultimate technique of the Pegasus Saints. Hundreds of platinum gold energy spheres, the size of fists, were released from Vaya's right fist, turning into a swarm of meteors that charged toward the giant boar. Bang, 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 bang. These punches struck the giant boar, but they failed to cause any damage. Seeing this scene, Vaya was not surprised at all. Just as I expected. This world also possesses magic, so I can use tier magic here. However, because Cosmo does not belong to this world's power system, the power of Pegasus Meteor Fist has been weakened by the world itself. By now, the giant boar had reached Vaya, launching an attack with its sharp tusks. World Severance Barrier. Vaya used origin magic to create a spherical barrier enveloping himself and Kusanagi Godou, then unleashed his Cosmo inside the barrier. In the next instant, the interior of the barrier, roughly 100 meters in diameter, transformed into a starlit cosmic sky. Is this the universe? While Kusanagi Godou observed the surrounding space, Vaya used a psychokinetic attack from his eyes to block the giant boar, then swung his right fist once more. Pegasus Meteor Fist. Bang, 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 bang. The meteor swarm, powered by Vaya's 10th sense Cosmo of a chief god, struck the giant boar and directly pierced through its massive body. The injured boar let out a scream, and its body began to gradually crumble and disappear. Outside the world's severance barrier, the eyes of Liliyana Kranjkar and Yuri Maratea glowed. Using their spiritual eyes capable of seeing the future, they saw the interior of the 100-meter barrier transform into a cosmic sky. This is the universe. No. Yuri Maratea denied Liliyana's guess. This is the realm of God. The so-called realm of God is a world belonging only to a deity, created by them solely to exert their divine authority and majesty. The interior of the barrier Vaya created with World Severance Barrier was indeed a space like the realm of God, which was precisely why Vaya could use the power of his Cosmo. Inside the World Severance Barrier, seeing the boar destroyed by Vaya, Kusanagi Godou chanted a new incantation. For victory, come before me. O immortal sun, please grant me a shining steed. Spirit horse with swift feet, bring the halo that symbolizes your master. Boom! A torrent of solar fire was summoned by Kusanagi Godou, transforming into a massive flaming white horse that charged at Vaya. Seeing the flames of the white horse, Vaya's expression turned solemn. Because the attack of the white horse did not belong to Kusanagi Godou, nor did it belong to Varithregna. These were the flames of Mithra, the Persian sun god king and master of Varithregna. Pegasus Comet Fist. Vaya swung his right fist, releasing a massive platinum gold energy sphere on a scale capable of rivaling the white horse's torrent of fire. There was a loud explosion. The white horse's torrent of fire and the platinum gold energy sphere collided and annihilated each other, the resulting shockwave shaking the realm of God created by Vaya's Cosmo. A moment later, the white horse's fire and the platinum gold energy sphere disappeared simultaneously. Seeing this result, Vaya was somewhat disappointed. In Vaya's realm of God, his own attacks should be enhanced while Kusanagi Godou's attacks should be suppressed. The fact that Vaya's Pegasus Comet Fist could not crush the solar fire of the sun god King Mithra proved that Mithra was more powerful than Vaya with his 10th sense Cosmo. Kusanagi Godou. Seeing that Kusanagi Godou was not continuing with a new incarnation, Vaya urged him, "Hurry and use a new incarnation." "I lose." Kusanagi Godou showed a bitter smile. "Even the white horse, which has the strongest attack, cannot defeat you. The outcome of this battle is already decided." In truth, Kusanagi Godou still had the warrior incarnation, which was even more powerful than the white horse, but he hadn't used it. As long as he had detailed knowledge of a deity, even if the opponent was Mithra, Varithragna's master, Kusanagi Godou could overcome the superior foe, cleaving through Mithra's divinity to seal his divine power. Unfortunately, Vaya was not a heretic god of this world, so the warrior incarnation's authority to cleave divinity was ineffective against him. Vaya opened his attribute panel to check his status. Vaya Helia's title White Dragon God Emperor, base level LV 100. Class level World Transcender LV 9. Comprehensive level LV 109. Special abilities Origin Magic, Holy Annihilation, 10th Sense Cosmo, Realm of God. Ultimate Magic, World Travel, World Burning Calamity Fire. Defeating Artemis in the Saint Seiya world had raised Vaya's World Transcender to LV 9 and his comprehensive level to 109. Defeating Kusanagi Godou did not increase Vaya's level. This was also an expected outcome. The current Kusanagi Godou was just a novice Godslayer, lacking the strength to be called a world transcender. Summoning the Godslaying sword of Kriskyor from the alternate space, Vaya teleported in front of Kusanagi Godou. "Kusanagi Godou, I must use your death to declare war on the other Godslayers." After saying this, Vaya directly pierced his heart with the Godslaying sword. After Kusanagi Godou collapsed as a corpse, Vaya withdrew his Cosmo and deactivated the world's severance barrier. "Kusanagi-kun!" Yuri Maritea cried out and ran over. Seeing Kusanagi Godou's heart pierced, she looked at Vaya with eyes full of terror. "You already defeated Kusanagi-kun. Why did you have to kill him?" "Yuri Maritea, have you gone mad?" Liliyana hurriedly came to her side to persuade her. "As a shrine maiden who serves the gods, you should know that offending a deity is an unpardonable sin. Yuri Maritea, Kusanagi Godou is not dead yet." Under the unbelievable gazes of Yuri Maritea and Liliyana, Vaya aimed the Godslaying sword at Kusanagi Godou's heart. Kusanagi Godou's ram, incarnation, possesses the authority of resurrection, so I must kill him twice to end him completely. If you deliver this strike, it will make things very difficult for me." A young girl with long purple hair tied in twin tails suddenly appeared beside Kusanagi Godou's corpse. She had a doll-like, cute baby face and a slender figure, wearing an ancient Greek-style white dress and lace-up sandals, looking even younger than Liliyana and Yuri Maritea. "Kusanagi Godou is my son in spirit. Could you please let him go?" "Are you Pandora?" Hearing the girl's words, Liliyana guessed her identity. Vaya looked at the Pandora before him with a solemn gaze. In this world, Godslayers do not become Godslayers simply by killing a heretic god. They are transformed into beings called Godslayers by Pandora through a ritual. Thus, Godslayers are also regarded as Pandora's children. The Pandora in Greek mythology was merely the first human woman created by the Olympian gods. She naturally couldn't possess the ability to turn humans into Godslayers. Therefore, the true identity of the Pandora, before him, was actually the great earth goddess who was widely worshipped by the indigenous people of Greece before the Mycenaeans migrated there. Chapter 183, The Eighth Godslayer. Pandora, I have a reason why I must kill Kusanagi Godou. If you intend to stop me, I would be more than happy to make you my target. Facing Vaya's threat, Pandora asked with a look of curiosity, What is the reason you must kill Kusanagi Godou? I intend to use Kusanagi Godou's death to declare war on the remaining 6 Godslayers. So that's it. It is Kusanagi Godou as a Godslayer that you wish to kill. Pandora's small face revealed a cunning smile. If I were to take back the authority and divine power of a Godslayer from Kusanagi Godou, would you still attack him? No. Hearing Vaya's answer, Pandora summoned a large, shield-like disc that covered Kusanagi Godou's entire body. The surface of the large disc was engraved with a pattern resembling a dragon head, with 8 sword imprints beside it. Ring of Usurpation, take back the power bestowed upon Kusanagi Godou. The large disc released waves that distorted space, extracting a fist-sized white orb of light from Kusanagi Godou's body. Clearly, this white orb of light was Virithregna's 10 avatars' authority. Sensing that Kusanagi Godou was no longer a Godslayer, possessing infinite divine power and authority, Vaya turned to look at Liliyana. Liliyana Kranjar, Kusanagi Godou, as a Godslayer, has disappeared from this world. You, the Bronze Black Cross, must spread this news immediately. Understood. Liliyana bowed her head to accept the order. Her gaze fell upon the Kusanagi Godou lying on the ground, and her heart was filled with turmoil. Kusanagi Godou was merely a novice who had just become a Godslayer. That he was defeated by Vaya was, indeed, a matter of course. But he was, after all, a true Godslayer. The fall of the 7th Godslayer would certainly bring unimaginable changes to this world. Could Lord Vaya truly be able to defeat all the Godslayers? Using divine power to transport Kusanagi Godou to another location, Pandora came before Vaya, holding the 10 avatars' authority in her hands. Kusanagi Godou will revive in his own room, having forgotten the memories of the time he spent as a Godslayer. Now, I wish to give you the victor's reward. Are you willing to accept it? You want to make me a Godslayer? Vaya wore a look of surprise. Pandora did not deny it. You are a deity from another world, so you do not have the status of a god in this world. As long as one is not a god, any living being can usurp divine authority and become a Godslayer. Pandora, my goal is to defeat all the Godslayers. This world is the world of Godslayers, and the story of this era belongs to the Godslayers. By wanting to defeat all the Godslayers, you are denying this world. Not only will all the Godslayers become your enemies, but even the gods themselves will oppose you. Pandora narrowed her eyes and threatened. If you do not wish to make the entire world your enemy, then accept the power of the Godslayer and become the 8th Godslayer. Vaya certainly did not believe that his strength was enough to defeat all the gods. To avoid the situation of being besieged by the gods, Vaya extended his right hand toward Pandora. Transferring the 10 avatars' authority to Vaya, Pandora's beautiful, doll-like face revealed a gentle and cute smile. Now you have also become my son. Quickly, call me Mother. Vaya rolled his eyes. Goddess Pandora, according to the rules of this world, Godslayers are indeed your sons and daughters in principle. But I come from another world, so I do not need to follow this rule. Pandora sighed helplessly. You will be my last child and the only one to survive. If I don't hear you call me Mother, I will truly be very sad. I am the murderer who wiped out all 7 of your children. Vaya said impatiently, disappear from my sight immediately. After Pandora left, Eurymeria gathered her courage and came before Vaya to ask. Since you can accept divine authority and become a Godslayer, it proves you are not a heretic god. Why were you able to defeat Kusanagi-san, who is a Godslayer? I am the white dragon god Emperor Vaya Helios, a deity from another world. A deity from another world. Eurymeria's eyes widened in disbelief. Recovering from her shock, Eurymeria suddenly bowed in a doja. Lord Vaya, please accept this humble girl's request. 7 Heroes Shrine. This shrine was located on a small hill in the city center, surrounded by a lush green forest. "I'm home, excuse the intrusion." Vaya and Liliyana followed Eurymeria into the shrine office. A little girl, about 12 years old, wearing a plaid dress with black hair falling just above her shoulders, ran over from the living room with a joyful face to welcome them. "Sister, welcome back." The little girl's face was extremely similar to Eurymeria's, enough to prove that she was Eurymeria's younger sister. Seeing Vaya and Liliyana, the little girl jumped up in excitement. This silver-haired sister must be sister's close friend, Liliyana Kranjjar. Close friend? Liliyana paused for a moment. Well, after all, Maria and I have been through those things, so it can indeed be said that we are close friends. Big brother, the little girl looked at Vaya with curious eyes. Are you Liliyana sister's boyfriend or my sworn brother? Hikari, Eurymeria shouted with a mix of shame, anger, and anxiety. You stop that right now. This lord is not the same as Liliyana-san. He is not someone you can offend with rudeness. Then Eurymeria bowed her head in apology to Vaya. Lord Vaya, this child is my younger sister, Maria Hikari. If you were offended by her rudeness, please be sure to punish me instead. Hikari is still an ignorant child. Maria Hikari pouted in dissatisfaction. Sister, I am not a child. Vaya said expressionlessly, Eurymeria, I am a deity, not a fierce and cruel demon king. Maria Hikari's eyes widened in disbelief. Isn't Big Brother sister's boyfriend? I am the white dragon god Emperor Vaya Helias, a deity from another world. Sister, Maria Hikari looked at Eurymeria. Is Big Brother really a deity? Yes. Could this be fate? Sister is a shrine maiden who serves deities, and Big Brother just happens to be a deity, so sister should serve Big Brother as a shrine maiden. Hearing her younger sister's words, Eurymeria's pretty face turned beet red with embarrassment. Lord Vaya, to prevent others from offending you, I propose that you stay at the Seven Heroes Shrine. If you have such an inclination, I am willing to serve you as an apology. Not necessary. Vaya rejected Eurymeria's proposal, then placed his right hand on Maria Hikari's head and gave her a head pat. Are you intentionally teasing your sister? No, Maria Hikari explained with a serious face. I genuinely want Big Brother to become my sworn brother. Vaya revealed a faint smile. The Maria family only has 2 daughters, so I can understand your desire to have an older brother. But even if your sister does not become my wife, I can still be your sworn brother. Chapter 184, The Fall of the Godslayer. Milan. This city is not only the capital of fashion, but also the center of the Southern European magic world. Because here are the 2 great noble organizations of the Southern European magic world, Red Copper Black Cross and Bronze Black Cross. Headquarters of the Red Copper Black Cross, the Grand Master's office. Paolo Blandelli, who looked about 40 years old, looked distressingly at Erica Blandelli, who was both his niece and foster daughter. Erica, are you really going to be this willful? Uncle, Erica showed an elegant smile. I will never change my decision. The only lord served by Erica Blandelli is the 7th Godslayer, Kusanagi Godou. If you are worried about Lord Salvator Doni punishing you, I am willing to sever my relationship with you, uncle, and become a traitor to the Red Copper Black Cross. Is the 7th Godslayer worth you betraying your family and the Red Copper Black Cross for him? It is worth it. Erica gave her answer without hesitation. Erica, I believe your judgment is not wrong, and Lord Salvator Doni is also willing to accept your betrayal. In exchange for Lord Doni forgiving you, we must arrange for the 7th Godslayer, Kusanagi Godou, to duel with Lord Doni. Erica's eyes lit up. Uncle, as long as Godou knows that I am being punished, he will definitely come here and negotiate with Lord Doni through a duel. Jingle, the phone on the desk rang. Paolo Blandelli held the receiver to his ear. What did you just say? Is this news true? This is really. Please make sure to reconfirm. Seeing Paolo Blandelli hang up the phone with a gloomy expression, Erica asked curiously, Uncle, has something bad happened? Erica, Paolo Blandelli showed a hesitant expression. This news has to do with you. You must be mentally prepared. The intelligence officer just told me that the 7th Godslayer has fallen. That's impossible. Erica widened her eyes in disbelief. Kusanagi Godou is the darling of the goddess of fate's kin, which is why he could become a Godslayer. His legend has only just begun. Even a heretic god or a Godslayer cannot defy the will of the goddess of fate to kill my Godou. Erica, this is news from the Bronze Black Cross. Liliyana is the witness to the fall of the 7th Godslayer. Lily is the witness to Godou being killed. Thump. Erica collapsed to the ground, tears streaming down her cheeks. Who exactly killed my Godou? Florence, a young man of about 25 years old with blonde hair, was leisurely fishing by the river. He had a handsome face and a lean build, wearing a casual shirt, casual pants, and sneakers, with a long, cylindrical box strapped to his shoulder. Jingle, the cell phone rang, and the blonde young man picked it up impatiently. The 7th Godslayer is coming to duel with me. No, hearing the answer from the other side, the blonde young man showed a disappointed expression. Why did you call suddenly? Is there some important matter? Could it be that there is a heretic god that needs me to crusade against? Salvator Doni, the other party, called out his real name with dissatisfaction. This blonde young man was none other than the 6th Godslayer who ruled southern Europe, Salvator Doni. I need to tell you something very important now. What exactly is this important matter you speak of? The 7th Godslayer has fallen. Nanny, Salvator showed a shocked expression. Is this news true? This is news from the Bronze Black Cross. Liliyana Kranjkar is the witness to the fall of the 7th Godslayer. The Bronze Black Cross was a famous organization in the southern European magic world, and Liliyana Kranjkar was the granddaughter of the Kranjkar family, who served as the Grandmaster of the Bronze Black Cross. Therefore, this news had extremely high credibility. Recalling the scene of his first meeting with Kusanagi Godou, Salvator sighed. I didn't expect this to be not only our first meeting, but also our last. If I had known you were so short-lived, I would have made a move on you back then. Who is the murderer who killed the 7th Godslayer, who killed my sworn brother? As his sworn brother, I must avenge him. You just want to fight with the strong person who killed the 7th Godslayer. The other party issued a warning in a serious tone. It is said that the other party is a deity whose goal is to eliminate all Godslayers in the world. Eliminate all Godslayers in the world? Salvator showed a smile so excited it was twisted. It seems the legend is true. The Star of Salvation that annihilates Godslaying demon kings, the last king to appear in the world, has finally appeared. Bucharest, in the suburbs of the city, there was a castle with a history of over 100 years. The Castle Hall. An old man as pale as a vampire was sitting on a marble throne. He wore a black suit, his silver-white hair was combed very neatly, and his beard was shaved clean, with the broad forehead and sunken eye sockets of an old man. This old man was the current owner of the castle, the most ancient contemporary 7th Godslayer, Sasha de Janstal Marquis Vauban. Buzz, sensing the vibration of his phone, the God-slaying demon king known as Marquis Vauban, opened his emerald-like eyes. How interesting, someone actually took the initiative to contact me. Marquis Vauban showed the gaze of a beast eyeing its prey and took out his phone from his pocket. Who are you? Marquis, I am the Grandmaster of the Bronze Black Cross. So it's you. Kranjkar, considering we have known each other for decades, as long as you give me a reasonable explanation, I will forgive your crime of disturbing me. The 7th Godslayer has fallen. Marquis Vauban's expression instantly became serious. Who killed the 7th person? A deity whose goal is to eliminate all Godslayers in the world. Eliminate all Godslayers in the world as the most ancient contemporary Godslayer, Marquis Vauban certainly knew that he was not the first Godslayer in the world. In fact, the history of Godslayers can be traced back to the Roman Empire era at least. All past Godslayers fell because every few hundred years, a star of salvation would appear to annihilate all God-slaying demon kings. The last king to appear in the world has finally appeared. He is my prey, and I will not let him go to anyone else. Lushan, a young girl who looked about 17 years old, with smooth black long hair braided into an ancient-style double bun, wearing white hanfu, stood on a cliff next to the Lushan waterfall, overlooking the scene of the Lushan waterfall rushing down. She had a fair and delicate little face, a shy standing posture, and a temperament like a young lady raised in a deep boudoir. Master, A voice full of fear came from behind. The girl turned around and saw a boy about 14 years old wearing a black top and jeans on the mountain road below. Yinghua, you came just in time. The girl showed a satisfied smile. Master wants to see if your strength has improved. Wait a minute. Master, I'm not here to be your punching bag, the boy said in a panic. I have important news to tell you. Chapter 185 Luo Hao. Early morning. The sun, rising from the east, illuminated the entire world. Vaya walked out of the administrative office of the Seven Heroes Shrine and saw Yuri Maritea, Liliyana Kranjkar, and Hikari Maria, who were wearing white cassoed tops and crimson pleated skirts, sweeping the fallen leaves in the courtyard. Seeing Vaya's figure, Yuri Maritea hurriedly inquired, Lord Vaya, do you have any orders? Breakfast. I'll go to the kitchen right now. After Yuri Maritea hurriedly left, Vaya spoke the word clean. Clean is a first-tier magic. Its effect is to thoroughly clean the target area. A wave of magical power swept through the Seven Heroes Shrine from Vaya's body, and the dust and fallen leaves instantly vanished under the impact of this magic. The leaves have all disappeared. Hikari Maria turned to look at Vaya with joy. Is this a spell or magic that Big Brother used? I used the clean magic. Big Brother. Hikari Maria walked up to Vaya with a serious expression. Can you teach me? Once I learn clean, I won't have to sweep the courtyard so hard anymore. Of course. Vaya aimed his right hand at Hikari Maria, and then released the crimson power of holy annihilation. Clean is a tier magic from the Bone King's world, and it would be rejected by the rules of this world. To let Hikari Maria learn clean, Vaya had to use the power of holy annihilation to modify her body. A moment later, Vaya withdrew the power of holy annihilation. Hikari, you can use clean now. Really? Hikari Maria activated her spiritual power and spoke the words of power. Clean. In the next instant, the spiritual power surging from her body swept through the Seven Heroes Shrine and the surrounding woods. It worked. Seeing all the fallen leaves in the woods disappear, Hikari Maria jumped with surprise and joy. Big Brother is truly a deity. He really let me learn magic. Seeing this, Liliyana Kranjkar couldn't help but speak. Lord Vaya, Hikari is using clean magic with a shrine maiden's spiritual power. Can both magic power holders and spiritual power holders use clean? Vaya shook his head. Clean is a magic that does not belong to this world, so neither magic power holders nor spiritual power holders of this world can use it. Hikari can use clean because I modified her using the power to change the rules of the world. After saying this, Vaya sensed someone watching him with an intense gaze. Vaya turned toward the top of the radio tower and saw a girl in ancient-style white hanfu at the top of the 332-meter tower. Their eyes met, and a smile like a hunter finding prey appeared on the girl's delicate and beautiful face. Finally, you're here. A similar smile appeared on Vaya's face. World movement. At the top of the radio tower, Vaya used origin magic to teleport in front of the girl, who showed a clearly surprised expression. You are not a heretic god. Vaya introduced himself. I am the White Dragon God Emperor, Vaya Helios, a deity from another world. No. The girl glared at Vaya with a cold gaze, as if she had been deceived. You are a Godslayer. Well, Vaya didn't deny it. Because I did indeed accept the divine authorities granted by the goddess Pandora, it's fine if you treat me as a Godslayer. Whether I am a deity or a Godslayer, you are the target I must eliminate. Do you know my identity? The girl showed a proud and confident expression. My surname is Luo, my given name is Julian, and my courtesy name is Hao. I am the leader of the 5 prisons sacred cult, the one who reigns at the pinnacle of martial arts. As a fellow sibling given new life by Pandora, I am also your elder sister. Elder sister. Thinking about Luo Hao's actual age being over 200, Vaya said with a troubled face. Luo Hao, I don't consider the goddess Pandora my mother, and I certainly won't go easy on you as an elder sister. If you don't want to be eliminated by me, then fight me with all your strength. To dare call your sister by her name directly. It seems I must use my strength to defeat you and educate you into a proper younger brother. Luo Hao grabbed Vaya's shoulder with her right hand and then made a wrist-flicking motion. Then, nothing happened. As the second Godslayer of the current era, Luo Hao and the oldest Godslayer, Marquis Vauban, are considered the two strongest Godslayers today. If it were any other Godslayer, even Marquis Vauban, they would have been thrown out by her peerless strength. Unfortunately, Vaya's strength far exceeded her expectations. As expected of my brother, your sister really underestimated you. Luo Hao looked at Vaya with a solemn expression. Your sister has already made a move against you. Now it's your turn. This isn't a turn-based game. Since Luo Hao stubbornly treated him as a younger brother, Vaya could only remind her once again. I won't go easy on you as an elder sister, so you must use all your strength. Are you worried about your sister? No. Luo Hao smiled sweetly. Such an untruthful brother. World Severance Barrier. Vaya released a barrier that enveloped himself and Luo Hao, and then used his Cosmo to turn the interior of the barrier into an infinitely large starry universe. This is the realm of God. It seems you indeed have the qualification to call yourself a god, and are an opponent your sister must face with all her strength. Endless golden particles were released from Luo Hao's body, condensing into a greatsword in her right hand and a vajra in her left, while the remaining golden particles became golden armor covering her entire body. Vaya knew these golden particles originated from her authority great strength vajra divine skill, which could not only turn into weapons and armor, but also summon Gahyapada and Narayana. For this was precisely the authority Luo Hao obtained by defeating Gahyapada and Narayana. O Vajra power dwelling within me, become a strike unrivaled in the world. Chanting the words of power to enhance her divine energy, Luo Hao arrived before Vaya with teleport-like speed and swung her greatsword. With a loud metallic clang, Vaya summoned the Godslaying sword of Chris Yor to block Luo Hao's greatsword. Your sister's attack isn't over yet. While issuing a warning to Vaya, Luo Hao swung the vajra in her left hand to attack him. Vaya directly grabbed Luo Hao's vajra with his left hand. Luo Hao revealed a cute smile, as if her scheme had succeeded. As the second Godslayer of the current era, Luo Hao did not have only the great strength, vajra divine skill, authority. Gazing still at Taibai's snow, joyfully meeting the heaven of martial merit. Shadows rest among the 1,000 officials, the heart revives before the 7 schools. Today, the Han Dynasty's altars newly count the years of restoration. The old man of Xiaoling weeps in silence. On a spring day walking stealthily by the Kujiang's Bend, the riverside palaces lock their 1,000 gates. For whom do the slender willows and new reeds turn green, remembering the rainbow banners descending to the South Park, where all things in the park took on color. These were the words of power for the authority dragons roar and tigers howl great law, which Luo Hao usurped after defeating the goddess of hymns from Indian mythology, Gayatri. Along with her chanting, her beautiful singing voice created a demonic wind capable of tearing through space. Chapter 186, The Second Godslayer. Luo Hao's second authority not only creates magical wind, but can also charm the target's spirit. Listening to the soft singing that sounded like a lullaby, Vaya wore a mischievous smirk. Luo Hao, you should also experience the charm authority of my familiar, the world's strongest succubus. Then, Vaya's eyes released a startling surge of magical power, striking Luo Hao. Luo Hao immediately stopped singing, looked at Vaya with a dazed smile, a shy blush appearing on her fair, exquisite face. The 2 younger brothers I met in the past were all weaker than me. You are the first younger brother who is stronger than me, and elder sister is truly very fond of you. Luo Hao, wake up. Seeing Luo Hao give up on the fight, Vaya reminded her. You are currently charmed by my authority. That's not true. These are my Luo Hao's true feelings. Luo Hao pouted with dissatisfaction. You are the first younger brother whose strength is greater than mine. It's only natural that I treat you as someone special. Even if you truly treat me as a younger brother, I will not give up on the idea of eliminating you. Vaya actively retreated to put distance between himself and Luo Hao. Pegasus Meteor Fist. Putting the sword of Chrysaor back into the different dimension, Vaya swung his right fist at Luo Hao, releasing hundreds of fist-sized, platinum-colored energy balls. Flying Phoenix 12 Divine Palms. Luo Hao turned the great sword in her right hand and the Vajra in her left into golden gloves, then swung both palms to block the meteor-like barrage of fists. Bang, 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 bang. As expected of one of the strongest Godslayers of the current generation. Seeing Luo Hao block the Pegasus Meteor Fist, Vaya swung his right fist to release an even more powerful ultimate move. Pegasus Comet Fist. The Pegasus Comet Fist concentrates the Meteor Fist into a single point, so its power is 100 times that of the Pegasus Meteor Fist. Luo Hao blocked the last Meteor Fist, only to see a huge platinum-colored energy ball about 100 meters in diameter rushing toward her. As an elder sister, I must block my younger brother's full-strength blow. Luo Hao stretched out her hands, using infinite golden particles to create a golden energy ball about 100 meters in diameter. Boom! The platinum-colored energy ball and the golden energy ball collided, and the two energies began to annihilate each other. Luo Hao, you lost. While Luo Hao was injecting divine power into the golden energy ball, Vaya used world movement to appear behind her. Dominated by the charm authority, Luo Hao wore a morbidly twisted smile. Younger brother, you are the first person to bestow defeat upon elder sister, so you can take everything from elder sister. Then I won't be polite. Vaya aimed his right hand at Luo Hao and released a black beam of light. Soul extinguishing breath. The light of soul extinction hit Luo Hao's body, and Luo Hao immediately widened her eyes as her soul was extinguished. 7 Heroes Shrine. Lord Vaya, I have finished breakfast. Yuri Maria walked out of the shrine office and saw that Vaya's figure had already disappeared from the courtyard. Miss Liliyana Kranjkar, where is Lord Vaya? Over there. Liliyana Kranjkar looked toward the top of the radio tower and said, Lord Vaya is fighting with the second Godslayer, sect leader Luo Hao. Sect leader Luo Hao. Yuri Maria instinctively widened her eyes. Possessing the status of martial arts alliance leader and sect leader of the 5 Prison Sacred Sect, Luo Hao has been a Godslayer for 200 years. She not only possesses divine authority, but has also cultivated martial arts and Taoist techniques to the extreme, making her one of the strongest Godslayers of the current generation. Looking at the top of the radio tower, Yuri Maria used spirit vision to see the scene of Vaya and Luo Hao fighting in Vaya's realm of God. Sect leader Luo Hao is dead. That black beam, could it be an attack that annihilates the soul? A Godslayer's body is protected by the infinite divine power bestowed by Pandora, capable of immunizing against supernatural attacks other than authorities. However, Pandora did not bestow upon Godslayers a soul comparable to a heretic god, so soul attacks are absolutely the fatal weakness of a Godslayer. Under the terrified gazes of Yuri Maria, Liliyana Kranjkar, and Hikari Maria, Vaya descended from the sky holding Luo Hao, who looked like a sleeping beauty, and landed in the courtyard of the 7 Heroes Shrine. Big brother, was this big sister killed by you? Vaya did not answer Hikari Maria's question, his gaze turning to look behind them. To kill your foster sister without mercy, you truly make me sad. Hearing the voice behind them, Yuri Maria, Liliyana Kranjkar, and Hikari Maria turned around and saw a sad-faced Pandora. Pandora, Vaya urged with dissatisfaction. Hurry up and do what you need to do. Ring of Usurpation. Pandora summoned a shield-like large disc to cover Luo Hao. Under Pandora's manipulation, the Ring of Usurpation quickly extracted 7 fist-sized light orbs from Luo Hao. Vaya, these are the 7 great authorities held by your foster sister Luo Hao. As long as you call me mother, I will bestow the strongest authority upon you as a reward. You will never hear me call you mother in this lifetime. Not even once in this lifetime. Pandora showed an unwilling expression. It must be because mother is too young and too cute now that you are too embarrassed to call me mother. As soon as you see my true form, you will surely call me mother obediently." After saying this, Pandora transferred the strongest of Luo Hao's 7 great authorities, Mighty Vajra Divine Art, to Vaya. Withdrawing the Ring of Usurpation, Pandora looked at Luo Hao, who looked like a sleeping beauty, and asked, "Vaya, can you give Luo Hao to Mother? After all, she is an important foster daughter, and Mother wants to send her back to Mount Lu." "No." Vaya refused the request. "I want to continue using her for experiments." "Experiments?" Under the surprised gazes of Pandora, Yuri Maria, Liliyana Kranjkar, and Hikari Maria, Vaya summoned Luo Hao's soul from his own cosmo, then sent Luo Hao's soul back into her body. "Younger brother." The sleeping beauty Luo Hao slowly opened her eyes and gave Vaya a gentle smile. "You actually held me. Am I dreaming?" "You are no longer my foster sister." Vaya said expressionlessly, "Now you are no longer a Godslayer, no longer Goddess Pandora's foster daughter." "My authority." Feeling that there was no divine authority in her body, Luo Hao's expression changed drastically. Vaya did not care about her reaction and let her feet touch the ground directly. "Vaya, you really are a gentle and good child." Recovering from the shock, Pandora looked at Vaya with a gratified smile. Mother's choice was indeed correct. You are qualified to become the new star of salvation. After Pandora left, Vaya's gaze turned to Liliyana Kranjkar. "Liliyana Kranjkar, the Godslayer Luo Hao has disappeared from this world. Immediately have the bronze black cross spread this news." "Understood." Accepting the order, Liliyana Kranjkar took out her mobile phone and began to dial her grandfather's number. "Younger brother." Luo Hao suddenly threw herself into Vaya's arms. "Even if elder sister is no longer a Godslayer, our bond as sister and brother will not disappear." "Is your brain broken?" Vaya complained dumbfoundedly. "I was the one who killed you just now, causing you to lose your Godslayer authority." All right, legends, that's it for today. If you're ready for the next chapter, smash that like button and flood the comments right now. Remember, we've got 3 days to prove this story needs to continue. Subscribe so you don't miss the drop, and I'll meet you in the next audiobook.